Have you ever felt a whisper in the quiet of your mind? A deep-seated knowing that you are meant for more than what you currently see. A sense that the universe itself is trying to tell you something, but you just can't seem to find the right frequency to listen. Perhaps you felt it while walking through a crowded city street, surrounded by people, yet feeling utterly alone and disconnected, as if you were operating on a completely different wavelength from everyone else. A silent song playing inside of you that no one else can hear. We live in a world defined by noise, a constant barrage of external chatter and, even more insidiously, a relentless internal static. The noise of doubt, of anxiety, of societal expectations and limiting beliefs passed down through generations has created a thick, dense fog that jams our personal signal, preventing us from hearing the subtle symphony of our own soul. We have been taught the gospel of struggle, the doctrine of relentless effort, the idea that we must fight and claw for everything we desire in this life. But we were rarely, if ever, taught the art of attraction, the profound science of inner attunement, the simple yet world-altering truth that we can adjust our internal frequency to resonate with the reality we wish to experience. The problem isn't a lack of power. It has never been a lack of power. The problem is that your antenna, the magnificent receiver and transmitter of your consciousness, has been tuned to the wrong station for far too long. But what if I told you that you possess the single most powerful broadcasting station in the known universe? And it exists right in the space between your ears. What if every single thought, every fleeting feeling, every deep-seated belief emits a unique vibrational frequency, a tangible signal sent out into the quantum field that patiently waits to be answered? This is not wishful thinking or a vague spiritual philosophy. This is the extraordinary meeting point of ancient wisdom and modern physics, a truth whispered by mystics for millennia and now being echoed in the halls of quantum science. Over the course of our journey together, we are going to decode this profound secret. We will dive deep into the wisdom of transformative audiobooks, timeless classics that have served as guideposts for millions, teaching them how to consciously and deliberately become the master controller of their own frequency. Consider this your map, your personal guide to dialing in the exact frequency of profound peace, of unwavering love, of effortless abundance. This is your invitation to finally turn down the static of the world and turn up the volume of your own power, transforming the silent whispers of the universe into the clear, tangible, and magnificent reality of your life. To truly begin this journey, we must first recalibrate our entire understanding of the world we inhabit. We look around and see things that appear solid, dense, and separate. We see the chair you're sitting on, the walls of the room you're in, the device in your hand. We perceive a world of objects, of distinct and disconnected things. But this perception, as convincing as it is a magnificent illusion, a trick of the senses. Ancient mystics have always known this. And now, modern science is reluctantly catching up, confirming a truth that rattles the very foundations of our material world. The truth is that nothing is solid. Everything you see, everything you are, everything you could ever imagine is at its core pure, unadulterated energy. If you were to take the most powerful microscope imaginable and zoom in on the hardest piece of granite, you would not find a solid, static substance. You would zoom past the molecules, past the atoms, past the protons and neutrons, and you would arrive at a place of near emptiness, a shimmering, vibrating dance of energy packets, what physicists call quanta. The universe, at its most fundamental level, is not a collection of things. It is a symphony of frequencies. It is an infinite, interconnected ocean of vibration. Your body is not a solid object. It is a vast community of trillions of cells, each one vibrating at a specific frequency, all held together in a coherent energy field that you perceive as your physical form. The sounds you hear are vibrations in the air hitting your eardrum. The light you see is a spectrum of vibrating electromagnetic frequencies. The entire universe is a single, colossal orchestra, and every single thing within it is an instrument, playing its own unique note, contributing to the cosmic composition. This understanding is the master key that unlocks every door. Once you accept this foundational principle, that everything is energy, a second, equally important law immediately clicks into place. It is a law as fundamental as gravity, yet far less understood. It is the principle of resonance, often stated simply as like attracts, like in the world of frequencies. This is an absolute, unshakable law. A frequency can only attract, can only resonate with a frequency that is identical or harmonically related to it. It cannot do otherwise. It is a law of physics. This is where we introduce our first and most powerful metaphor, the tuning fork. Imagine you are in a quiet room, and in front of you on a wooden table are two identical tuning forks, both tuned to the note of middle C. You pick up a small mallet and strike one of the forks. It immediately begins to hum, to vibrate, emitting that clear, perfect C note into the air. Now, here is where the magic happens. You reach out and silence the fork you just struck, and yet, the sound continues. The note hangs in the air, pure and unwavering. The sound is coming from the second tuning fork, the one you never touched. It began to vibrate and sing simply by being in the presence of a frequency that matched its own. It had no choice in the matter. It was compelled by the laws of physics to respond, to resonate with the signal it received. This phenomenon is called sympathetic resonance. Now, let us expand this metaphor to the grand scale of your life. Imagine that you are the first tuning fork, your inner state, the sum total of your dominant thoughts, your deepest beliefs, and your most prevalent emotions, determines the specific note you are vibrating at, the signal you are constantly and often unconsciously emitting. Let's say for a moment, you are consistently vibrating at the frequency of gratitude. You feel genuinely thankful for your health, for your relationships, for the simple beauty of a sunrise. You are humming with the clear, high-frequency note of appreciation. Out there, in the infinite quantum field, in the grand orchestra of the universe, are countless other tuning forks. There is a tuning fork for a loving relationship. There is a tuning fork for an unexpected financial windfall. There is a tuning fork for a brilliant creative idea, for a chance encounter with a helpful stranger, for a perfect business opportunity. All of these potential experiences are vibrating, waiting, listening for their resonant frequency. When you consistently broadcast the frequency of gratitude, the universal law of resonance dictates that the tuning fork of more things to be grateful for must, by law, begin to vibrate in your experience. It has to, it will be drawn into your life. The universe, like the second tuning fork, doesn't judge or question. It simply responds to the signal you send. Conversely, imagine you are vibrating at the frequency of fear and lack. You are constantly worried about not having enough money. You are focused on the bills piling up, on the scarcity of opportunities, on what might go wrong. You are humming with the low, discordant note of anxiety. By the same immutable law, you are sending out a clear signal, and the universe, in its impersonal perfection, responds in kind. The tuning forks of more bills, unexpected expenses, and missed opportunities begin to vibrate sympathetically and are drawn into your reality, confirming your deepest fears. The universe isn't punishing you, it is simply matching your frequency. It is giving you more of what you already are. This is the profound, and for some, terrifying implication of living in a vibrational universe. There are no neutral moments. You are always broadcasting. You are always attracting. The question is not if you are creating your reality, but what reality you are creating with the frequency you are emitting right now. This brings us to the very heart of the matter. Your thoughts and emotions are not just idle, pervade events occurring inside your skull. They are real, measurable, energetic vibrations. They are frequencies. A thought of pure, unconditional love vibrates at an incredibly high, fast rate. A thought of deep-seated resentment or hatred vibrates at a very low, slow, and dense rate. Joy, peace, and excitement are high-frequency states. Anger, jealousy, guilt, and despair are low-frequency states. Think of it like a radio dial. At the very bottom of the dial, you have the static-filled frequencies of victimhood and powerlessness. As you turn the dial upwards, you move through frustration and blame, then into hope and optimism, and further up into joy, love, and enlightenment. You are the one controlling the dial, and the station you are tuned to determines the music, the reality that plays out in your life. You cannot listen to a classical music station and expect to hear rock and roll. Likewise, you cannot maintain a frequency of lack and expect to experience a reality of abundance. It is a vibrational impossibility. When you begin to consciously choose thoughts that feel better, you are literally, not figuratively, turning the dial to a higher frequency. You are changing the note you are sending out to the universe. And in doing so, you are commanding a different set of experiences to resonate with you. This is the first and most liberating truth. You are not a victim of a random, chaotic world. You are a vibrational being, a living tuning fork, at the center of a responsive, vibrational universe, and the power to choose your vibration, to choose your note, lies entirely within you. If everything is frequency, and our thoughts are an inseparable part of this universal orchestra, then how powerful is the instrument we all possess right between our ears? This leads us directly to the broadcast tower of our reality, the human mind. If the universe is a symphony of frequencies, then the human mind is its grand conductor, its most powerful and sophisticated broadcasting tower. It is from this intricate, bioenergetic command center that all signals are generated and sent forth. This is not a metaphor. It is the operational reality of your existence. Your mind is constantly active, a ceaseless generator of thought, and each of those thoughts is a pulse of energy, a specific frequency shot out into the quantum field. Think of the most powerful radio tower on Earth, sending its signal out for hundreds of miles. Now, understand that the broadcast power of that tower is infinitesimally small compared to the power of a single, focused human mind. You are, at every moment, broadcasting the blueprint of your future reality. To truly grasp this power, however, we must understand that the mind is not a single, unified entity. It operates on two distinct levels, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the relationship between them is the secret to becoming a deliberate creator. Your conscious mind is the captain of the ship. It is the part of you that is listening to these words right now. It sets goals. It analyzes. It judges. It reasons. It is the mind you use to decide you want a better job, a healthier body, or a more loving relationship. It is the thinker, the one who declares the destination. But here is the crucial distinction. The conscious mind is the captain, but it is not the engine room. It can shout orders all day long, but it doesn't have the power to actually propel the ship. That immense, thrumming power belongs to the subconscious mind. The subconscious is the vast, automated engine room below deck. It is the seat of your long-term memory, your bodily functions, your habits, and most importantly, your core beliefs. It is the part of you that keeps your heart beating without you having to think about it. The part that allows you to drive a car while your conscious mind drifts off. It is a creature of habit and repetition, and it operates with a power that dwarfs the conscious mind. While the conscious mind might represent a tiny fraction of your mental processing power, the subconscious represents the other 95% or more, and this is the part of your mind that is doing most of the broadcasting. This is why so many people struggle to change their lives. They use their conscious mind to set a new goal. I want to be wealthy. They declare. They might even affirm it a few times. But if their subconscious mind, the powerful broadcast engine, has been programmed for decades with core beliefs like money is hard to come by, I'm not good enough, or rich people are greedy, then what signal do you think is actually being sent out with power and consistency? The conscious mind's tiny whisper for wealth is completely drowned out by the subconscious mind's deafening roar of lack and unworthiness. The universe isn't confused. It receives the dominant signal, the one being broadcast with the most power and consistency from the engine room. and it dutifully delivers a reality that matches it. The secret, therefore, lies in aligning the captain's orders with the engine's programming. You must impress your conscious desire upon your subconscious mind until the subconscious accepts it as a new core belief, a new default program. When that happens, your entire being, 95% of your mental power, begins to broadcast that new frequency automatically, effortlessly, and relentlessly. This is where the power of focus comes into play. Focus is the mechanism by which the conscious mind impresses its desires upon the subconscious. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. This is a fundamental law of consciousness. Whatever you consistently hold in your conscious awareness, you are energizing, you are feeding it, nourishing it, and instructing your subconscious mind that this is important. This is what we are. If your focus is consistently on your debts, on your problems, on the news, on what's wrong with the world, you are powerfully instructing your subconscious to broadcast the frequency of lack and fear. If, however, you deliberately discipline your mind, pulling your focus back again and again to your goals, to feelings of gratitude, to mental images of your desired outcome, you are engraving a new reality into your subconscious. You are literally rewiring your brain and retuning your broadcast tower. The universe doesn't respond to a single, fleeting thought of abundance any more than a garden responds to a single seed thrown on barren ground. It responds to the dominant frequency, the signal that is maintained through disciplined focus over time. It is the sustained hum of your being, not the occasional shout, that shapes your world. There is no more powerful illustration of this principle than the story of Edwin C. Barnes, as documented in Napoleon Hill's classic audiobook, Think and Grow Rich. Barnes was a young man of no particular means or education, but he was possessed by a single, all-consuming desire to become a business associate of the great inventor, Thomas A. Edison. He didn't just want to work with Edison. He intended to. This was not a wish. It was a decision that had already been made in his mind. He had no money to even travel to East Orange, New Jersey, where Edison's laboratory was, so he rode a freight train, a hobo in the eyes of the world. He presented himself at Edison's office, looking like a tramp, but his mind was broadcasting a different signal. Edison said later that he saw something in Barnes's eyes, a look of determination that communicated he was a man who would not be denied. Edison gave him a menial job in his office. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. To anyone else, Barnes was just another lowly employee, but in his own mind, he was already the partner of Thomas Edison. He never wavered. He held that one thought, that one frequency. With bulldog tenacity, he focused on his goal, looking for his opportunity. The opportunity came when Edison invented a new device, the Ediphone, a dictating machine. His salesmen were not enthusiastic about it. They didn't believe they could sell it. But Barnes saw his chance. He knew he could sell it because his mind was already in partnership with Edison's. He went to Edison, laid out his plan, and was given the contract Not only did he sell the device successfully, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Edwin C. Barnes became fabulously wealthy, and his business slogan became made by Edison and installed by Barnes. He had literally thought himself into a partnership with the greatest inventor of his age. He held one frequency, without deviation, until the physical world had no choice but to rearrange itself to match his mental broadcast. Barnes's story shows us that a thought is not a trivial thing. It is not just a flicker of biochemical activity. It is a tangible event in the universe. It is a cause, a potent force of energy that has the power to influence matter. When you hold a thought, you are creating a mold, a vibrational template. The longer and more consistently you hold that mold with your focus, the more energy you pour into it, until the formless substance of the quantum field begins to flow in and harden into that exact shape in your physical reality. Your mind is the sculptor, your thoughts are the chisel, and the raw material is the infinite energy of the universe. You are broadcasting every moment of every day. The question is, are you broadcasting by default, allowing old programs and external circumstances to choose your frequency, or are you willing to take conscious control of your focus, to become the Edwin C. Barnes of your own life, and to hold the thought of the life you desire until it has no choice but to become your reality? But a signal isn't just a thought. It needs an amplifier to give it power. That amplifier, the very thing that gives our signal its strength and reach, is emotion. If the mind is the broadcast tower, then emotion is the electricity that powers the signal. A thought without emotion is a whisper in the wind, a faint and powerless transmission that quickly dissipates into the ether. It is emotion that gives a thought its charge, its amperage, its power to pierce through the fabric of reality and command a response. Emotion is the fuel for creation. It is the lifeblood of frequency. To understand and harness your emotional power is to move from being a passive listener of life's static to becoming the master broadcaster of your own magnificent reality. For too long, we have been taught to misunderstand and mistrust our emotions. We are told to be rational, to suppress our anger, to hide our sadness, to be wary of too much excitement. We treat our feelings as inconvenient byproducts of being human, as weaknesses to be managed or overcome. This is perhaps the greatest and most tragic misinterpretation of our own design. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are not random. They are the most sophisticated, accurate, and immediate guidance system you will ever possess. Imagine you are embarking on a cross-country road trip. Your desire, your destination, is a beautiful, sun-drenched beach on the opposite coast. Before you set off, you program this destination into your car's GPS. Your conscious mind has done its job. It has chosen the what and the where. Now, you begin to drive. Your emotional guidance system is the voice of that GPS. As you make a correct turn, driving down a road that leads directly toward your sunny beach, the GPS voice is calm, encouraging continue straight for 200 miles. In your life, this is the feeling of joy, of excitement, of passion, of interest. These positive emotions are your internal GPS, confirming, yes, keep going. Your current train of thought, your present focus, is in perfect vibrational alignment with your desired destination. You are on the right path. Every time you feel good, it is the universe whispering in your ear. You are moving toward everything you want. Feeling good is not a luxury. It is essential navigational information. Now, imagine that, lost in thought, you miss an exit and make a wrong turn onto a dusty, desolate road leading into a cold, dark mountain range. Away from the ocean, the GPS doesn't get angry or judge you. It simply states a neutral fact, recalculating. That feeling of recalculating is the first twinge of negative emotion. It's boredom, it's pessimism, it's frustration. It's your internal guidance system calmly alerting you, attention. The thought you just chose, the subject you are now focused on, is taking you away from your desired destination. Your frequency is no longer a match for the sunny beach. Please make a U-turn at your earliest convenience. If you ignore this gentle recalculating signal and continue down the wrong road, the warnings become more urgent. You begin to feel worry, then blamer, then anger, then fear. These stronger negative emotions are your guidance system screaming, wrong way. You are moving directly away from your desire. The vibrational gap between where you are and where you want to be is widening. This is the profound truth of your feelings. They are not a punishment. They are a loving, infallible indicator of your alignment. They are your vibrational feedback loop. Your emotions don't respond to the conditions of your life. They respond to the frequency of your thoughts about the conditions of your life. This is a critical distinction. Two people can be in the exact same situation, for example. Having the same amount of money in the bank, one person can focus on what that money can buy, on the security it represents, on gratitude for having it, and they will feel good. Their GPS says, you are on the path to more abundance. The other person can focus on how it's not enough, on the fear of it running out, on the bills it has to cover, and they will feel terrible. Their GPS says, you are on the path to more lack. The situation is identical. The vibrational broadcast, powered by their emotion, is polar opposite. The teachers known as Abraham Hicks, in their seminal audiobook, Ask and It Is Given, present this concept through a powerful metaphor, the vortex of creation. They explain that every time you ask for something, whether you do so consciously or unconsciously, the universe immediately creates a vibrational version of it, a non-physical reality where your perfect health, your soulmate, your dream career, your financial freedom, all exist right now. Fully formed, this swirling, high-frequency reality is your vortex. It contains everything you have ever wanted. Your work is not to create these things, for they are already created. Your work is to tune your personal frequency, your own vibration, until you are a resonant match for what is already waiting for you in your vortex. And how do you know when you are a match? By how you feel. When you feel joy, appreciation, love, or passion. You are, in that moment, standing inside your vortex. You are a vibrational match to your own creations. Manifestation, the physical appearance of your desire, is inevitable from this state. When you feel doubt, worry, jealousy, or despair, you have simply stepped outside your vortex. Your desire is still there, patiently waiting for you. But you have tuned yourself to a different station. Your emotions are your constant, real-time indicator of whether you are in the vortex or out of the vortex. Understanding this transforms how you relate to your feelings. You begin to see them as allies. You become a selfish feeler in the most positive sense of the word, realizing that reaching for the best feeling thought you can access at any moment is the most important work you can ever do. This leads to the idea of the emotional ladder. You cannot take a quantum leap from the frequency of deep depression to the frequency of pure joy. The vibrational gap is too vast, but you can climb one rung at a time. If you are in despair, reaching for anger, this is unfair. I deserve better is a step up. Anger has more energy than despair. From anger, you might be able to climb to blame, then to frustration. There has to be a way out of this. From frustration, you might find a sliver of hope. From hope, you can find optimism. From optimism, you can reach for joy. The goal is not to be happy all the time. The goal is to be aware of where you are on the ladder and to gently, lovingly, reach for the next rung up. Each step up feels like relief, and that feeling of relief is the sound of your frequency rising, of your signal getting clearer, of you moving closer to your vortex. This creates the crucial feedback loop of creation. A thought alone is a blueprint. An emotion alone is raw energy. But a thought combined with an emotion becomes a supercharged, targeted broadcast. When you think a thought that produces a negative emotion, you are amplifying a signal of what you don't want. The thought, "I don't have enough money," creates the feeling of anxiety, which is a powerful emotion. This potent emotion then fuels more thoughts of lack, which creates more anxiety, trapping you in a downward spiral, broadcasting a powerful, coherent signal of lack to the universe, which it must then match in your reality. But you can consciously reverse this process. You can choose a thought that feels just a little bit better. I may not have enough right now, but I've always managed to get by. That thought might produce a tiny feeling of relief, a slight release of resistance. That feeling of relief now makes it easier to find another, slightly better feeling thought. I remember that one time when money showed up unexpectedly, this thought might create a flicker of hope, and that hope fuels more optimistic thoughts, creating an upward spiral, a powerful, coherent signal of relief and hope that the universe must now begin to match. This is the art of conscious creation. It is the moment-by-moment process of choosing the frequency you broadcast, using your emotions as the infallible guide. Your feelings are the language your soul uses to speak to you. They are the compass needle that always points toward your true north. To ignore them, to suppress them, to medicate them away, is to throw your only map overboard in the middle of a vast ocean. To honor them, to listen to them, to thank them for their guidance, is to finally take the helm of your own ship. So we now have the thought signal and the emotional amplifier. We understand how to read our divine guidance system, but what happens when that guidance system seems to be permanently stuck on a faulty route, constantly recalculating because of old, corrupted map data burned into its memory? We must now descend into the engine room of our frequency, the place where the map itself is stored, to confront the deeply ingrained programs of our subconscious mind. We have the thought, the signal, we have the emotion, the amplifier, we even have the guidance system, our feelings, constantly telling us if we are on the right path. So why is it that even with the best intentions, we so often find ourselves stuck in the same repeating loops of lack, frustration, and disappointment? You decide, with all the conviction of your conscious mind, to tune to the frequency of abundance. Yet you find your hands still trembling with financial anxiety. You resolve to broadcast the signal of love, but you feel the familiar ache of loneliness echo back at you. It's as if there is a ghost in the machine, a hidden saboteur in your own mind that systematically undermines your conscious efforts, constantly pulling the dial back to the old, static-filled station of your past. This ghost is real, and it has a name: your subconscious blueprint. It is the deeply ingrained programming, the core paradigm that operates as the default setting for your entire energetic system. And until you learn to rewrite it, you will remain a slave to its commands. Imagine your life is like a house controlled by a central thermostat. Your conscious mind is the part of you that can walk over to that thermostat and decide, I want it to be 72 degrees in here. You can set the dial with intention and clarity, but your subconscious mind is the thermostat's internal, factory-set program. If that program is hardwired to maintain a temperature of 55 degrees, what happens? You can set the dial to 72, and for a short time, the furnace might kick on. But the moment your attention wanders, the underlying program will take over, notice the discrepancy, and shut the furnace off, returning the house to its chilly, default state of 55 degrees. This is the struggle of millions. They are consciously trying to turn up the heat in their lives, while their subconscious program is working tirelessly to keep things exactly as they have always been. This program was not installed by accident. It was meticulously, though often unconsciously, coded into you during the most formative period of your life, the first 7 years. From birth until roughly the age of 7, a child's brain operates predominantly in a low-frequency brainwave state, known as theta. Theta is the state of hypnosis. It is a state of pure receptivity, with no critical filter. A young child is essentially a walking, talking, energetic sponge, absorbing everything in their environment as undeniable truth. The words their parents use about money, the way they treat each other, the beliefs of their community, the subtle messages from television, all of it bypasses the non-existent conscious guard and is downloaded directly into the subconscious as the operating system for life. If you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard for every penny, that wasn't just a saying, it became a line of code in your financial program. If you witnessed love as being conditional or painful, that became your core belief about relationships, if you were made to feel that you weren't good enough or smart enough, that became the central pillar of your identity paradigm. This collection of core beliefs, this paradigm, does not just influence your reality, it creates it. It functions as an invisible yet impenetrable frequency filter. If your core belief is "I am unworthy of love," your subconscious blueprint will ensure that you literally cannot perceive, attract, or maintain a healthy, loving relationship. You could be in a room with 10 wonderful, available people who would adore you, but your frequency filter will render them invisible to you. Instead, your attention will be magnetically drawn to the one person who will treat you poorly, thereby validating and reinforcing your core program. It's not bad luck. It's perfect physics. The paradigm only allows experiences that are a vibrational match to its own coded beliefs. It is a self-perpetuating prison, and the walls are built from your oldest, deepest, and often unexamined assumptions about life. This is why sheer willpower almost always fails to create lasting change. Willpower is a function of the conscious mind, the 5% mind. Trying to use willpower to overpower a subconscious program is like an ant trying to redirect a freight train. It's a valiant but ultimately futile effort. Think of it like trying to hold a large beach ball underwater. With immense strain and focus your willpower, you can keep it submerged for a while. But the ball has a natural tendency to float, just as your subconscious program has a natural tendency to run itself. The moment your conscious focus wavers, the moment you get tired or distracted, the ball, your old habit, your limiting belief, shoots back to the surface with incredible force. This is why New Year's resolutions are often abandoned by February. It's why people can stick to a strict diet for a few weeks before snapping back to their old eating patterns. They are fighting the 95% of their own mind, and that is a battle you cannot win through force alone. So, how do we get past the beach ball? How do we stop fighting the program and instead become the programmer? The answer is that you cannot force the change. You must persuade it. You cannot shout commands at the engine room from the captain's deck. You must go down below and speak to the engineers in their own language. The language of the subconscious is the language of repetition, feeling, and symbolism, and the gateway to speaking it is through relaxation. The subconscious mind is most open to new suggestion when the conscious, analytical mind, the guardian at the gate, is quiet and drowsy. This happens naturally twice a day, in the moments just before you fall asleep, and in the moments just as you are waking up. In these precious windows, your brain waves slow down from the active beta state into the relaxed, receptive alpha and theta states, the very same states you were in as a child. These are the golden hours for reprogramming. What you impress upon your mind in these states is accepted with little to no resistance. This is the principle of autosuggestion, a cornerstone of the teachings in Joseph Murphy's timeless audiobook, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Murphy's work is filled with astonishing, documented accounts of individuals who transformed their realities using this simple method. He tells the story of a famous singer who lost her magnificent voice due to crippling stage fright. Her career was over. Doctors could find nothing physically wrong. Consciously, she wanted to sing, but her subconscious had equated singing on stage with intense fear. and humiliation, and it was protecting her by shutting down her vocal cords. Following Murphy's advice, she stopped fighting. Instead, 3 times a day, she would relax completely in an armchair, in this drowsy, peaceful state. She would affirm to herself, calmly and with feeling, "I am singing beautifully. I am poised, serene, and confident. The audience loves it, and I am at peace." She wasn't just saying words. She was creating the feeling of the wish fulfilled. She was feeding her subconscious a new reality, a new program, over and over again. Within a short time, her voice returned, more brilliant than ever, and she resumed her celebrated career. She had rewritten the blueprint. In another case, a man was diagnosed with a terminal form of cancer and given only months to live. Instead of accepting the verdict, he learned that the subconscious mind had built his body and could, therefore, heal it every night. Before sleep, he would imagine his doctor standing before him, saying, "You've had a miracle, the cancer is gone." He would play this mental movie with all the feeling and relief he could muster, looping it until he drifted off to sleep. He was giving his subconscious a new, clear command: health. Months later, his follow-up scans were completely clear. The doctors were baffled. But he was not. He had impressed a new blueprint of perfect health onto the master builder within. And the builder had simply followed the new plans. You are not a prisoner of your past programming. You are the programmer. The thermostat can be reset. The old code can be overwritten. It requires not a fight, but a gentle, persistent persuasion. It requires you to honor the power of your subconscious mind and to speak to it in its own language. In the quiet, receptive moments of your day, you must become the gatekeeper of your own mind, choosing carefully which thoughts and feelings you allow to sink into the fertile soil of your subconscious just before you sleep. For the ideas you plant in the evening will grow in the darkness and shape the garden of your life that you awaken to the next day. Once we understand the need to rewrite the blueprint, we need the right tools for the job. Let's explore one of the most powerful techniques for engraving a new frequency into the subconscious, the art of visualization. If the subconscious mind is the fertile soil in which the seeds of our reality grow, then visualization is the most powerful tool for planting a new garden. We have established that to change our lives, we must provide the subconscious with a new blueprint, a new set of instructions to follow. While simple repetition of words can work, the subconscious thinks not in words, but in images and feelings. It is the language of experience. Visualization, therefore, is not mere wishful thinking or idle daydreaming. It is a focused, disciplined, and deliberate act of creation. It is the process of building a finished reality in the workshop of your mind before the universe delivers the physical parts for its assembly. It is mental rehearsal so powerful and so real that it fundamentally rewires your brain and retunes your energetic signature to become a magnet for the experience you are simulating. This is not philosophy, it is neurology. The scientific community has demonstrated time and again a fact that is almost too staggering to believe. The brain does not and cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. From the perspective of your neural pathways, The two are identical. When an Olympic skier closes her eyes at the top of a mountain and mentally rehearses her entire run, feeling the pull of gravity, hearing the sound of the wind, seeing every gate, and turn the exact same areas of her brain fire as when she is actually hurtling down the slope. She is strengthening the neural circuits for a perfect run, creating muscle memory without ever moving a muscle. This discovery is the key that unlocks the door to profound and rapid transformation. It means that you can practice being wealthy before the money shows up. You can practice being confident before you step on the stage. You can practice being healthy before your body has fully healed. By creating these experiences in your mind first, you are building the neurological hardware, the internal framework that makes the external manifestation not just possible, but inevitable. This principle was the life's work of Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a celebrated plastic surgeon who stumbled upon one of the greatest psychological discoveries of the 20th century, which he documented in his groundbreaking audiobook, Psychocybernetics. Dr. Maltz noticed a bizarre phenomenon in his practice. He would perform a technically perfect surgery, removing a scar or reshaping a nose, yet the patient would often report that they still felt ugly, that they still saw the old, scarred person in the mirror. Their physical face had changed, but their inner face, their subconscious self-image, had not. This internal blueprint was overriding the external reality. At the same time, he began to read studies about a completely different field: performance enhancement. He read about basketball players who were sequestered in a room and told to do nothing but mentally practice their free throws. They didn't touch a basketball for weeks. Yet when they returned to the court, their free throw accuracy had improved by over 20%, the same as the group who had been physically practicing every day. He learned of concert pianists who could master complex musical scores on long voyages, practicing entirely on a mental keyboard. The conclusion was inescapable. The outer world, our performance, our appearance, our reality, is controlled by an inner blueprint, a self-image, and visualization is the surgical tool we can use to revise that blueprint. However, there is a critical ingredient that separates potent, reality-bending visualization from mere fantasy. It is the element that ignites the blueprint and gives it life. It is feeling. A mental image without emotion is a photograph with no electricity, a silent film that has no impact. It is the feeling that you generate during your visualization that creates the frequency. The great mystical teacher Neville Goddard built his entire philosophy on this singular, powerful idea: feeling is the secret. The purpose of visualization is not to get the thing you desire. The purpose of visualization is to generate the feeling of already having the thing you desire. You do not visualize a new car to get a new car. You visualize a new car to experience. Right now. The feeling of freedom, of pride, of security that you believe the car will give you. It is that feeling, that specific frequency that the universe responds to. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the signal. When you can close your eyes and truly feel the relief of all your debts being paid, feel the warmth of a loving partner's hand in yours. Feel the profound gratitude of a healthy body. You have collapsed time and space. You have brought a future potential into your present energetic reality. You have become a vibrational match. And by the law of resonance, that physical reality must now find its way to you. To make this practice truly transformative, you must build a rich, multi-sensory experience. You are not just seeing a picture, you are stepping into a living, breathing movie scene where you are the star. Let us construct a scene together. Let's say your desire is a beautiful home by the ocean. Don't just see a picture of a house. Step inside it in your mind. Use all of your senses. What do you see? See the specific color of the walls, the way the sunlight streams through the large windows, the dust motes dancing in the light. Look out the window and see the blue of the ocean, the white foam of the waves. What do you hear? Hear the gentle, rhythmic crash of the waves on the shore. Hear the sound of seagulls in the distance. Perhaps you hear the happy laughter of your family echoing through the halls. What do you feel? Feel the cool, smooth stone of the kitchen countertop under your fingertips. Feel the warmth of a coffee mug in your hands. Feel the gentle sea breeze on your skin as you stand on your balcony. What do you smell? Smell the fresh, salty air. Smell the aroma of your morning coffee brewing. Smell the faint scent of flowers from the garden. By layering these sensory details, you are making the experience undeniably real to your subconscious mind. You are forging powerful new neural connections, creating an energetic imprint that is as real as any physical memory. This is not a task you perform once. This is a ritual, a daily rehearsal for your future. The most potent times, as we've discussed, are in the relaxed states just before sleep and just upon waking. Take 5 or 10 minutes every day to close your eyes and play your mental movie. See it, hear it, feel it, smell it. Immerse yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What this daily practice does is normalize the new reality. It takes it from the realm of impossible fantasy and brings it into the realm of familiar expectation. Your subconscious mind begins to accept this new, abundant, joyful reality as its normal state of being. It becomes a memory of the future. And because the job of the subconscious is to create coherence between your inner blueprint and your outer world, it will begin to work tirelessly, arranging synchronicities, inspiring actions, and shifting your perception to make your outer world conform to the new inner reality you have so faithfully rehearsed. You are no longer chasing a desire. You are simply allowing a reality you have already created in mind to manifest in form. You are the architect and the director, using the screen of your mind to project the film of your choosing. Visualization creates the image, but words give that image a voice, a resonant mantra that can reshape our cells. This brings us to the power of affirmations and the frequency of language. If the art of visualization provides the silent, architectural blueprint for our desired reality, then the words we use are the resonant building materials and the sacred incantations spoken during its construction. A thought image is powerful, but when you give that image a voice, when you clothe it in the vibrational energy of sound, you amplify its creative force exponentially. We have been taught to believe that words are merely labels, convenient sounds we use to point at things. This is a profound understatement of their power. Words are not passive descriptors, they are active, energetic events. Every word you speak, And every word you think carries a specific frequency that radiates outward from you, shaping the very substance of your life and the cells of your body. To master your language is to master a critical control panel for your personal frequency. There is perhaps no more dramatic illustration of this than the revolutionary work of the late Japanese researcher, Dr. Masaru Emoto. His experiments, documented in his famous audiobook, The Hidden Messages in Water, are a stunning visual confirmation of what mystics have taught for ages. Dr. Emoto's methodology was simple yet elegant. He would take samples of water from the same source, expose them to different stimuli, freeze them, and then photograph the resulting ice crystals under a microscope. When water was exposed to beautiful classical music, or to words like love, gratitude, and thank you, the crystals that formed were magnificent, intricate, and perfectly symmetrical, like beautiful, geometric snowflakes. They were expressions of harmony and order. However, when the water was exposed to chaotic heavy metal music, or to words and phrases filled with hate and fear, like "I hate you" or "you fool," the resulting images were jarringly different. The water failed to form crystals at all, instead producing ugly, distorted, fragmented, and chaotic shapes. Like murky blobs of discord, the water was physically, structurally changed by the frequency of the words it was exposed to. Now, consider the most important fact. Your physical body, right now, is more than 70% water. Every single day, you are bathing the 70 trillion cells of your body in the frequency of your own internal and external dialogue. When you engage in negative self-talk, when you say "I'm so stupid" or "I'm a failure," you are commanding the very water of your being to form distorted, chaotic structures. When you speak words of love and appreciation to yourself and others, you are commanding your cellular structure to form patterns of beauty, harmony, and order. You are, quite literally, either building a temple or a trash heap inside your own body with the words you choose. Understanding this power, we can now consciously use words to program our subconscious mind and broadcast a clear, coherent signal. This is the art of the affirmation. An affirmation is not just a positive statement. It is a carefully constructed command, designed to be accepted by the subconscious and to attune your frequency to a new reality. A truly effective affirmation follows a few simple but non-negotiable rules. First, it must be in the present tense. Your subconscious mind is a literal engine that does not understand future or past. It only understands now. If you say, "I will be wealthy," you are affirming that wealth is always in the future, just out of reach, and your subconscious will work to maintain that state of perpetual becoming. You must state it as a present moment reality. I am wealthy. Second, it must be framed in the positive. The subconscious has difficulty processing negatives. If you affirm, "I don't want to be sick," the dominant frequency it hears is sick. You must claim what you do want. I am perfectly healthy. Third, it must be personal, beginning with the creative power of I am These are the two most powerful words in any language, for what follows them is a direct command to the universe and to your own being about who you have decided to be. Finally, and most critically, an affirmation must be charged with emotion. A phrase repeated mechanically like, "A robot is an empty shell." You must feel the reality of the words you are speaking. This is why one of the most powerful affirmation formulas begins with the phrase, "I am so happy and grateful now that..." This preface immediately tunes you to the high frequencies of happiness and gratitude, infusing the statement that follows with immense creative power. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities, from multiple sources, on a continuous basis. This is a perfect, potent affirmation. With this knowledge, we must face a sobering truth. Most of us are already masters of affirmation, but we are using our power in reverse. For every 5 minutes, someone might spend repeating a positive phrase. They may spend hours engaged in the most powerful form of negative affirmation. There is negative self-talk. Every time you criticize yourself in the mirror, every time you berate yourself for a mistake by saying, "I'm such an idiot," every time you complain to a friend, "Bad things always happen to me," you are not just venting. You are performing a powerful ritual of self-hypnosis. You are diligently affirming your unworthiness, your incompetence, and your victimhood. You are commanding the water in your cells to be distorted. You are instructing your subconscious mind to filter your reality to provide you with more evidence of your own negative claims. Your dominant frequency is not determined by the words you speak in a 5-minute ritual, but by the casual, unconscious, and constant chatter that fills your mind all day long. Becoming a conscious creator requires becoming a vigilant guardian at the gate of your mind, catching these negative affirmations as they arise, and consciously choosing to replace them with words that build the reality you desire, not the one you fear. No one understood or taught this principle with more love and clarity than Louise Hay. In her life-changing audiobook, You Can Heal Your Life, she shares her own remarkable journey of moving from a traumatic childhood to a diagnosis of cancer, and how she used the power of affirmations to completely heal her body and her life. Her foundational teaching was that our thoughts and words are creative, and that every disease in the body has a corresponding thought pattern in the mind. She famously compiled lists of physical ailments and the probable mental cause behind them. From back problems, indicating a lack of support, to throat problems, indicating a fear of speaking up. Her solution was to lovingly release the old pattern and install a new one with a targeted affirmation. At the heart of all her work was the core belief that the root of all our problems, from illness to poverty, stemmed from a single source, a deep-seated feeling of, "I am not good enough." Therefore, the most healing incantation, the master affirmation that could begin to heal anything, was the simple, profound act of self-love. I love and approve of myself. For millions, speaking these words in the mirror, especially when it felt difficult or untrue, began a process of melting away decades of self-criticism, allowing the natural state of well-being to re-emerge. Louise Hay taught us that words of love, especially those directed at ourselves, are the highest frequency we can generate, a universal solvent that can dissolve disease and discord like building a new neural pathway with visualization. Reprogramming your mind with affirmations requires repetition. You are carving a new groove into the vinyl record of your subconscious mind. The first few passes might sound scratchy and faint, but with each repetition, the groove gets deeper. The signal gets clearer, until it becomes the dominant track that plays automatically. Make it a ritual. Write your affirmations on your bathroom mirror. Set reminders on your phone. Record yourself speaking them with emotion and listen to the recording as you fall asleep. Let these new, life-affirming frequencies be the last thing your mind absorbs in the evening and the first thing it aligns with in the morning. By combining the vivid mental movie of visualization with the powerful, emotionally charged script of affirmations, you create a coherent, resonant, and irresistible broadcast that your subconscious mind must accept and the universe must respond to. We now have the mental image and the spoken word, but to truly live in a new frequency, we must embody it. This requires the crucial step of letting go of the old reality. We have now arrived at a crucial and perhaps the most paradoxical stage of our creative journey. We have learned how to meticulously construct a new reality in the workshop of the mind. Through vivid visualization, we have learned to charge that vision with power. Using the sacred incantations of emotionally charged affirmations, we have, in essence, learned how to be powerful, active creators, sending a clear, coherent, and potent signal into the quantum field. And now, after all of this focused effort, all of this doing, you must perform the most advanced and powerful action of all. You must do nothing. You must let go. This is the great cosmic paradox, the step that separates the amateur manifester from the master creator. Having planted your seed with care and intention, you must now have the wisdom and faith to walk away from the garden and allow the unseen forces of nature to do their work. For if you keep digging up the seed every day to check if it's growing, you will not speed up the process. You will guarantee its failure. This anxious checking, this desperate need to see results, this constant prodding and poking at your desire, has a name. It is called resistance, and it is the single greatest saboteur of your dreams. Resistance is the static that scrambles your otherwise perfect broadcast. It is a powerful counter-frequency, born of doubt and fear, that actively works to neutralize the very signal you have worked so hard to create. Imagine you are tuning an old analog radio. With great care, you dial it to 101 FM, the station that plays the beautiful music of your fulfilled desire. You can hear it faintly, but with your other hand, you are nervously fiddling with the dial, twitching it back towards 88.7 FM, the familiar, static-filled station of your old reality. The station of what if it doesn't work, and how is this ever going to happen? The result is a cacophony of noise, an unlistenable mess. This is what resistance does. The universe has heard your clear signal for abundance on 101 FM, but it is also hearing your powerful, fear-based signal of doubt on 88.7 FM, caught between these conflicting broadcasts. The universe can only deliver a reality that reflects that conflict, a mixture of frustration, near misses, and confusion. Resistance is the energy you generate when one part of you wants something and another part of you is terrified you won't get it. To dissolve this resistance, we must first understand the critical difference between pure desire and needy attachment. Desire is a clean, creative, high-frequency energy. It is the pure, joyful thought of your goal. It is the love for the experience you wish to have. Desire, in its pure form, feels good. It feels expansive and hopeful. Attachment, on the other hand, is the opposite. It is a contracted, fearful, low-frequency energy. Attachment is desire that has been contaminated with the fear of loss. It is the thought that says, I need this to happen in order to be happy, or my life will be ruined if this doesn't work out. When you are attached, your happiness becomes conditional, held hostage by a future event. This creates an unbearable energetic tension. You are desperately trying to broadcast the frequency of having your desire, but your emotional state of neediness is screaming the frequency of not having it. And as we know, the universe doesn't respond to your words or pictures. It responds to your dominant emotional frequency. Holding on to a desire with attachment is like trying to catch a bird by squeezing it in your fist. You will only crush the life out of it. To truly let go is to open your hand, to continue admiring the bird and wanting it to be there, but to release the desperate need to possess it. It is a profound declaration of faith that says, I would love for this to happen, but my happiness, my peace, and my wholeness are right here, right now, regardless of the outcome. And paradoxically, it is this very state of non-resistance that allows the bird to land peacefully on your open palm. A major component of this needy attachment is the obsession with the how. Your conscious, logical mind, in its desire to feel safe and in control, wants a step-by-step plan. It wants to know exactly how the money will arrive, how you will meet your perfect partner, how your body will heal. So it starts plotting and scheming, trying to force open doors and manipulate circumstances. This is a fatal mistake, because your conscious mind is operating with an incredibly limited data set. It can only formulate plans based on what it has seen and experienced in the past. It is trying to build a new future using the old, worn-out tools of your history. The universe, or the quantum field, on the other hand, is a field of infinite intelligence and infinite possibilities. It can see pathways and orchestrate synchronicities that your limited mind could not conceive of in a million years. When you obsess over the how, you are essentially telling the master chef of the universe to step aside so you can show it how to boil water. You are closing yourself off from the magical, the miraculous, and the unexpected. Your job is not the how. Your job is to steadfastly hold the frequency of the what, the end result. The feeling of the wish fulfilled once you have placed your energetic order with clarity and feeling. You must step back from the kitchen and trust that the chef knows exactly what it's doing. This brings us to the true, operational meaning of faith. In this context, faith is not a religious or even a spiritual belief system. It is a tangible, energetic state of being. It is a frequency of relaxed, peaceful expectation. The best modern analogy is placing an order on Amazon. You go online. You find the item you want, your desire. You place it in your cart. And you click confirm. Purchase the act of visualization and affirmation. What do you do then? Do you spend the next 3 days pacing your house, wringing your hands, emailing the CEO every hour, asking, "Is it coming? Are you sure you got my order? How is the driver getting here?" Of course not. That would be insane. You simply let it go. You go about your life with the calm, underlying knowing that your package is on its way. You may not know the exact route the truck will take, or the name of the driver, but you have a relaxed trust in the system. You expect a delivery. That state of calm, trusting expectation is the frequency of faith. It is the ultimate state of non-resistance. It is what allows the delivery to arrive at your door without interference. To let go of your desire is to treat it like an Amazon order you have placed with the universe. You have done your part. Now trust the delivery system. The most profound tool for cultivating this state of letting go and dissolving resistance comes from a teaching that might seem, at first, to be separate from the law of attraction, but is in fact its master key. It is the core message of Eckhart Tolle's monumental audiobook, The Power of Now. Tolle teaches that all suffering and all resistance is created by the mind's incessant need to escape the present moment, either by dwelling on the past, creating regret and resentment, or by anxiously projecting into the future, creating fear and worry. Letting go, in its deepest sense, is the act of bringing your full attention into the now. It is the realization that in this exact moment, right now, stripped of your mind's stories about it, you are okay. When you are fully present, you are not worrying about how your desire will manifest, because worry only exists in the future. You are not doubting your worthiness based on past failures, because doubt only exists in the past, in the pure, silent space of the present moment. There is no resistance. There is only being. To accept your present reality as it is, not with resignation, but without internal argument, is to stop the energetic war within yourself. It quiets the static, and from that place of quiet, internal peace, you become a pure, clear receiver, allowing the new reality you have asked for to be drawn to you, not by force, but by the irresistible magnetism of your own inner stillness. Letting go is not an act of abandoning your desire. It is the ultimate act of faith in its fulfillment. It is the final, sacred pause that allows the universe to choreograph its magic. When we let go of resistance, we create space. Into this space, the universe begins to send signs and signals. We must learn to recognize these cosmic breadcrumbs, a phenomenon known as synchronicity. Once you have performed the sacred act of letting go, of releasing your desperate grip on the outcome, you create a vacuum, an open and receptive space in your energetic field. You have transitioned from a state of anxious striving to one of peaceful trust. And into this newfound stillness, the universe begins to speak. It doesn't shout, at least not at first. It whispers, it nudges, it communicates in a subtle, elegant, and profoundly personal language. It begins to send you signs, winks from the cosmos, little trail markers on your path, to let you know that your signal has been received and your order is being processed. These are not random accidents or mere coincidences. This phenomenon, this interactive dialogue with the divine matrix, is called synchronicity. The term was coined by the legendary Swiss psychologist, Dr. Carl Jung, who was fascinated by events that seemed to be connected by meaning rather than by a clear cause and effect relationship. He defined synchronicity as a causally ordered connecting principle, which is a very clinical way of saying it's a meaningful coincidence. A coincidence is seeing a yellow car pass by and then another one. It's random and holds no particular meaning. A synchronicity is wrestling with a difficult life decision, desperately asking for a sign of which path to take, and then looking up to see a yellow car pass by with a license plate that reads "Go for it." The event itself is mundane, but its timing and its relevance to your inner state are so perfect, so utterly improbable, that it sends a shiver down your spine. It feels like a message. Synchronicity is the tangible evidence that there is an underlying intelligence at work in your life, a hidden order that is constantly interacting with your consciousness. It is the bridge between your inner world of thought and feeling and the outer world of physical reality, confirming that the two are not separate, but are in constant, intimate conversation. Think of it as the next level of your emotional guidance system. If negative emotions are the recalculating warning, and positive emotions are the "you're on the right path" confirmation, then synchronicities are the delightful, surprising points of interest the universe shows you along the way. They are the cosmic equivalent of your GPS saying, "Excellent driving as a little bonus. There's a beautiful, hidden waterfall just off the next exit that you might enjoy." These signs are the universe's way of building your faith. It knows that the human mind is prone to doubt, so it provides gentle, continuous feedback to encourage you, to show you that your inner work is having a real, external effect. It's a loving reassurance that says, "We heard you. Your new frequency is logged in our system. The gears of reality are turning in your favor. Here is a small token of our progress, just to keep your spirits up." This divine feedback comes in countless forms, often tailored specifically to you. One of the most common ways people first experience this is through repeating numbers. You start glancing at the clock at exactly 11:11 every day. You find yourself behind cars with license plates that read 333 or 555. You see these number sequences on receipts, on street signs, on your phone, while some traditions assign specific meanings to these angel numbers. Their true power lies not in some universal dictionary, but in the act of noticing itself. Your subconscious mind, now aligned with a higher frequency, begins to recognize the inherent patterns and order in the universe that were always there, but were previously invisible to you. Seeing these numbers is like your subconscious nudging you and saying, "Look, see, things are lining up. We're in the flow." Another common form of synchronicity is through sound. You're pondering a question, and you turn on the radio or walk into a coffee shop, and the lyrics of the song playing contain the perfect answer, speaking directly to your situation with startling clarity. Or you might overhear a snippet of a conversation between strangers behind you on a bus, and they say the one thing you desperately needed to hear. The message wasn't for them, it was delivered through them, for you. The universe also communicates through people and information. You might think to yourself, I really need a mentor to help me launch this new business. And the very next day, a long-lost friend calls you out of the blue and says, you won't believe who I had lunch with yesterday. You two have to meet, or you walk into a bookstore with a problem weighing heavily on your mind, and a book literally falls off the shelf and lands at your feet. You pick it up, and the title itself is the answer you've been searching for. This is the very essence of the narrative in James Redfield's famous spiritual adventure novel, The Celestine Prophecy. The entire book is a masterful allegory for living a life guided by synchronicity. The protagonist is not a hero with a grand plan. He is simply a man who learns to pay attention to his intuition and follow the coincidences, each synchronicity, each chance encounter, when followed, leads him to the next and the next, as if he is following a trail of cosmic breadcrumbs left just for him, with each step revealing more of his personal truth and his role in the world's spiritual awakening. So, how do you interpret these signs? The key is to resist the urge to overanalyze with your logical mind. The language of synchronicity is not meant for the intellect. It is meant for the heart. The true meaning is found in the feeling that accompanies the event. It's that sudden intake of breath, that feeling of wonder, that internal jolt of recognition that says, whoa. It's a feeling of resonance, a deep inner knowing that this was not random. Trust that feeling. The specific meaning is often personal. While seeing an eagle might mean freedom to one person, it might be a reminder of a beloved grandparent for another. Your intuition is the decoder ring. When a synchronicity occurs, simply pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what was I just thinking or feeling right before that happened? The message is almost always a direct response to your immediate inner state. And finally, to amplify this magical dialogue, you must respond with the most powerful frequency of all gratitude. When the universe winks at you, wink back. When you see your number sequence or hear your song, don't just dismiss it. Smile. Say akiet. Internal thank you. Acknowledge the gift. By expressing gratitude, you are sending a clear, resonant signal back to the universe that says, message received, I'm listening. I appreciate this connection. More of this. Please, this creates a beautiful, self-perpetuating feedback loop. The more you notice and appreciate synchronicities, the more the universe will send them. They will grow from subtle whispers to loud, undeniable, and often humorous events that will leave you in a constant state of awe and wonder. Synchronicity confirms our alignment. It tells us our signal is clear. But what specific frequency are we often trying to align with for so many of us? It is the elusive but ever-present frequency of abundance and prosperity. We have learned to tune our signal, to amplify it with feeling, and to listen for the universe's affirming feedback in the form of synchronicity. Now, let us direct this powerful creative technology toward one of the most charged and misunderstood areas of human experience, the acquisition of wealth. For countless people, the very idea of money is fraught with anxiety, guilt, and a deep-seated feeling of lack. They see wealth as something external, a finite resource that exists outside of them, something to be chased, fought for, and perpetually worried about. This entire framework is built on a lie, a foundational misunderstanding of reality. Abundance is not something you chase. It is a frequency you tune into. It is not a mountain of cash. It is a state of consciousness. And until you make that internal shift, you will forever be scrambling for the scraps that fall from a table of infinite plenty. The journey to financial freedom does not begin with a new budget or a new business plan. It begins with an archaeological dig into the dusty basement of your subconscious mind to uncover and mercilessly exterminate the limiting beliefs about money that have been running your life. These beliefs are like poverty viruses installed in your operating system when you were too young to have a firewall. They were passed down from your parents, who got them from their parents, often originating from times of Great Depression or hardship. They are insidious lines of code that run on a loop, generating a constant, powerful frequency of lack. They are phrases like, "Money is the root of all evil." "You have to work your fingers to the bone to get ahead." "Rich people are greedy and dishonest." "There's never enough to go around." Or the ever-present, "We can't afford that." Every time you heard these phrases as a child, your subconscious mind, in its open, hypnotic state, accepted them as law. They became the pillars of your financial reality. And so today, even if your conscious mind desires wealth, your powerful subconscious engine is dutifully broadcasting the frequency of these beliefs, effectively repelling the very money you seek. It filters your reality, ensuring you only see evidence that money is scarce and hard to get, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of struggle. To overwrite this faulty programming, we must reframe our entire concept of money. Money is not paper, and it is not evil. Money is energy. That is all it is. It is a neutral, man-made tool designed to facilitate the exchange of value and creative energy. It is like electricity. Electricity can be used to light a hospital and save lives, or it can be used to power an electric chair. The electricity itself is neutral. It is the intention behind its use that gives it its character. Money is the same. It is a current that flows. When you provide value to the world through a service, a product, an idea, or an act of kindness, money flows to you as a symbol of that value. When you use that money to pay for your groceries, you are flowing energy to the farmer, the truck driver, and the grocery clerk, thanking them for their value. To hate money, to resent it or fear it, is to build a dam against this natural flow of energy. It is as nonsensical as a farmer hating rain. You must make peace with money. You must see it, not as a goal in itself, but as a beautiful and necessary byproduct of living a creative, value-driven life. This fundamental reframing allows you to consciously shift from what is known as a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset sees the world as a single, limited pie. If someone else gets a big slice, it means there is less for you. This worldview breeds competition, jealousy, hoarding, and fear. It is the belief that resources are limited and life is a zero-sum game. The abundance mindset on the other hand, knows a profound truth: the pie is infinite. If someone else bakes a magnificent new pie, it does not diminish your potential to bake your own. In fact, it just means there is more pie in the world for everyone. The abundance mindset celebrates the success of others, knowing that their success is proof of what is possible, a sign that the frequency of prosperity is strong in the world. It looks for opportunity, for collaboration, for expansion. It knows that the true source of wealth is not a bank account, but the infinite wellspring of creative ideas within human consciousness. To make this shift, you must train your mind to see the evidence of abundance that is already all around you. Evidence that your scarcity filter has been hiding from you. This is the central teaching of one of the most potent and direct books ever written on this subject. Wallace D. Wattles' early 20th century masterpiece, The Science of Getting Rich. Wattles lays out a formula, a certain way of thinking and acting that, if followed with mathematical precision, will lead to wealth. He begins with a foundational premise that there is a thinking substance, a formless stuff from which all things are made. This is his term for the quantum field, the universal consciousness. He states that this substance is intelligent, alive, and its natural impulse is always toward more life, toward expansion and abundance. The universe, he argues, wants you to be rich, you being rich, expressing your full potential, and living a full life is the fulfillment of the universe's own desire for expansion. The poverty viruses in your mind are in direct opposition to the fundamental forward-moving current of life itself. The certain way of thinking, according to Wattles, involves 3 core steps. First, you must form a clear, precise mental image of what you want, holding it with unwavering faith. Second, you must have a deep and abiding gratitude for the blessings you already have, knowing that gratitude connects you to the source of all wealth. Third, you must act in a way that creates more value than you consume, ensuring that every transaction you make adds to the life of the world. By thinking, feeling, and acting in this certain way, you align yourself with the universe's natural, creative, forward-moving impulse. And wealth becomes not a struggle, but a natural result. So how do you practice this? How do you generate the feeling, the frequency of abundance, when your bank account seems to be broadcasting a reality of lack? You start by deliberately and consciously appreciating the wealth you already possess, most of which has nothing to do with money. Go on a rampage of appreciation. Feel the staggering wealth of oxygen you get to breathe for free. Contemplate the abundance of leaves on a single tree, the infinite blades of grass in a field. Feel the richness of a deep friendship, the unconditional love of a pet, the warmth of the sun on your skin. These are all forms of infinite abundance. By tuning your attention to them, you shift your frequency from lack to plenty. Next, you must change your relationship with the act of spending money. When you pay a bill, do not feel the pain of money leaving you. That is a powerful affirmation of loss. Instead, hold the bill in your hand and feel a wave of gratitude for the service it represents, for the electricity that powered your home, for the water that you drank, for the roof over your head, bless the bill and send it off with love. Knowing that you are a vital part of the flow of energy, and as you give freely and gratefully, so too shall you receive. Live as if. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already fabulously wealthy? You would probably feel secure, relaxed, generous, and free. Practice embodying those feelings now. Walk with a sense of security. Make decisions from a place of freedom, not fear. Be generous with your time, your compliments, and your energy. By generating the feeling state first, you become the tuning fork that compels the physical manifestation to resonate with you. Abundance is an inside game, a frequency you broadcast, born from a mind that has been cleared of the static of scarcity and tuned to the endless, harmonious hum of universal plenty. Having explored the frequency of abundance in our external world, let us now turn our attention inward to the most immediate and intimate manifestation of our energy, the physical body. For centuries, we have been conditioned to see our bodies through a mechanistic lens, as a collection of bones, muscles, and chemical reactions, a biological machine that is prone to breaking down and is largely separate from our consciousness. We treat it like a car we drive, something that requires external fixes from mechanics in white coats. This perspective, much like the idea that wealth is purely external, is a profound and limiting illusion. Your body is not a machine. It is a vibrant, intelligent, flowing field of energy, a dense and miraculous hologram of your consciousness. Every one of your 70 trillion cells is a tiny, conscious listener, constantly tuned to the broadcast of your mind. Your body is not a passive victim of genetics and germs. It is an active and obedient creation, and the frequency you broadcast is the architect's instruction, dictating whether that creation expresses vitality or disease. The so-called mind-body connection is not a vague concept. It is a direct and measurable frequency phenomenon. Your thoughts and emotions are not abstract events. They are biochemical realities. When you live in a state of low-frequency emotion stress, worry, resentment, fear, your mind sends a distress signal throughout your nervous system. This signal commands your adrenal glands to flood your body with powerful stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In the short term, this fight or flight response is a brilliant survival mechanism. But when it becomes a chronic, daily state of being, which is the unfortunate reality for so many in our modern world, these hormones become toxic. Chronic high cortisol levels create system-wide inflammation, suppress your immune system, disrupt your digestion, and interfere with cellular repair. Inflammation is now understood by mainstream science to be the root precursor to nearly every major chronic illness, from heart disease and arthritis to diabetes, and even certain cancers. You are, in effect, bathing your cells in a low-frequency acid bath of stress, making disease not just possible, but probable. Conversely, when you cultivate high-frequency emotions, love, joy, gratitude, peace, your brain chemistry changes dramatically. You release a cascade of what can only be described as the elixir of life. You produce endorphins, your body's natural painkillers. You generate serotonin, which elevates your mood. You release oxytocin, the love hormone that fosters connection and reduces anxiety. You even produce chemicals that boost your immune system's T cells and natural killer cells. Your frontline defense against invaders. These high-frequency states create a biochemical environment that is conducive to healing, regeneration, and vitality. The state of your health, therefore, is often a direct reflection of the dominant emotional frequency you have been broadcasting to your cells over time. There is no greater or more scientifically undeniable proof of this than the placebo effect. The placebo is the ghost in the machine of modern medicine, a phenomenon so powerful it must be accounted for in every single clinical trial, yet so profound it challenges the very core of our materialist worldview. In countless studies, a group of patients suffering from a real, diagnosed illness is given a simple sugar pill or a saline injection, a substance with no medicinal properties whatsoever. However, they are told it is a powerful new breakthrough drug. A significant percentage of these patients then proceed to experience real, measurable, and sometimes complete remission of their symptoms. The sugar pill did not heal them. Their belief in the pill healed them. Their consciousness, convinced that healing was imminent, adopted a new, powerful frequency of health. It sent a new, clear command to the body's innate intelligence. And the body, the obedient servant, simply followed the new blueprint. It began to manufacture its own perfect pharmacy of healing chemicals. Achieving the exact result the real drug was designed to produce, and we must not forget its dark twin, the nocebo effect, where a patient's negative belief that something will harm them can actually create negative physical symptoms, even from a harmless substance. The placebo and nocebo effects are the ultimate proof that the most powerful ingredient in any medicine is the consciousness of the person taking it. Your belief is a frequency, and your body is its most faithful receiver. This connection goes even deeper, into the very memory of our tissues. The idea of cellular memory suggests that our bodies keep a physical record of our emotional lives. An intense trauma, a prolonged period of grief, or a deep-seated resentment isn't just a memory in the brain. It's an energetic event that can become trapped or imprinted in the body's bio-energetic field. It can manifest as a chronic knot of tension in your shoulders, a persistent ache in your lower back, or an inexplicable ailment in a specific organ. It's as if the body, in its wisdom, is holding onto the unresolved emotional energy, creating a physical symptom to draw your attention to the inner work that needs to be done. Healing, in this context, is not just about treating the symptom, but about releasing the trapped, low-frequency, emotional energy that is creating it. Perhaps no one has explored and explained this territory more brilliantly than Dr. Joe Dispenza in his audiobook, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He merges neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics to create a practical model for profound healing. Dr. Dispenza's own story is his greatest testament. After a devastating cycling accident shattered 6 of his vertebrae, he was told he would likely never walk again without major surgery that could have left him crippled. He refused the surgery and instead made a decision to turn his attention inward, to see if he could apply these principles to heal himself for hours every day. He went into a state of meditation, consciously reconstructing his spine in his mind and commanding his body to heal, all while cultivating the elevated emotions of gratitude and wholeness, as if the healing had already occurred, against all medical expectation. In a matter of weeks, he had completely rebuilt his spine and was walking again, pain-free. His work now teaches that we become addicted to our familiar emotional states. We get caught in a loop where our thoughts create our feelings, and those feelings then generate the exact same thoughts, conditioning the body to live in the past. To break the habit of being yourself is to use meditation to get beyond your analytical mind, disconnect from this self-perpetuating loop, and enter the quantum field as pure consciousness. From this place of infinite potential, you can select a new reality, a new future, and a new state of being, and begin to signal your genes and your cells with new, high-frequency information, becoming the placebo for your own life. This means you have a pharmacy inside you, and the prescriptions are written by your consciousness. You can begin activating it today. Practice deep, diaphragmatic breathing to shift your nervous system out of fight or flight and into the rest and digest state where healing occurs. Practice active gratitude for your body. Stand in front of a mirror and instead of criticizing its perceived flaws, thank your heart for beating over 100. 0 times a day without your command. Thank your lungs for breathing, your legs for carrying you. Flood your cells with the high frequency of appreciation, and consider that the very food you eat is also information, a frequency, living. Whole foods like fresh fruits and vegetables have a high, vibrant energy. Processed, lifeless foods have a low, dense energy. Nourishing your body is another way of tuning its frequency. Your body is the most incredible gift you will ever be given. It is the vessel for your consciousness in this physical dimension, a self-healing, intelligent organism of immense power. It is not your enemy. It is your most devoted ally, constantly listening, constantly responding, always doing its best to reflect the instructions it receives from you. When you change your broadcast, when you change your frequency, you send a new blueprint to every cell in your being, inviting it to return to its natural, default state, one of absolute, vibrant health. We've covered wealth and health. Now let's turn to one of the most sought-after frequencies of all, the frequency of love and harmonious relationships. Having attuned our frequency to the vibrations of abundance and the resonance of physical well-being, we now arrive at the most profound and universal human yearning, the desire for love. We seek a partner, a companion, a soulmate, someone whose energy harmonizes with our own, creating a symphony of connection and intimacy. This search for love, however, has been framed by our culture as an external hunt, a quest to find the one, as if they are a missing treasure we must locate. This paradigm is the source of immense frustration and heartache, for it is fundamentally flawed. You do not find love, you become it. You do not attract a loving partner by searching. You do so by becoming a vibrational match to the very love you desire. Attracting a harmonious relationship is not a matter of luck or location. It is a matter of frequency. The most important law in the universe of relationships is this: you do not attract what you want. You attract who you are. Your relational world is a perfect, flawless mirror of your own internal, energetic state. If you are moving through the world with an underlying frequency of insecurity, loneliness, and a deep-seated feeling of "I am not whole without a partner," then by the immutable law of resonance, you will attract people who perfectly match and reflect that vibration. You might attract a partner who is overly critical, perfectly mirroring your own inner self-judgment. You might attract someone who is emotionally unavailable, a perfect match for the way you have been emotionally unavailable to yourself. You might attract another needy person, leading to a codependent relationship built on a shared frequency of lack. The universe is not punishing you. It is providing you with a divine and perfect feedback mechanism. It is giving you a clear, external reflection of your own internal broadcast, so that you can finally see and heal the parts of you that are blocking the very love you crave. The recurring, frustrating patterns in your love life are not a curse. They are a curriculum designed to show you exactly where your own frequency is out of tune. This leads us to the absolute, non-negotiable prerequisite for attracting a healthy, loving partner. You must first cultivate that love for yourself. This concept of self-love has often been distorted into an idea of vanity or narcissism. But true self-love is something far deeper and more powerful. It is a quiet, unwavering frequency of acceptance, appreciation, and radical compassion for yourself. It is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a cherished friend. It is celebrating your strengths and holding your perceived flaws with gentle understanding. Most importantly, it is the realization that your wholeness, your worth, and your happiness are not contingent on anyone else's approval or presence. A person who has cultivated this state of self-love is like a cup filled to the brim, overflowing with its own internal validation. They are not walking through the world with an empty cup, begging others for a few drops of affection to make them feel whole. Instead, they move with the energy of offering, of sharing the overflow of love they already possess. This shift in frequency is transformative. You cease to broadcast the needy, contracted signal of "I need you to complete me," and you begin to radiate the expansive, magnetic signal of "I am already whole, and I would love to share my wholeness with you." It is this frequency of self-sufficiency and genuine joy that is irresistibly attractive to other healthy, whole, and emotionally stable individuals. With this understanding, we must reevaluate the common approach of making a detailed checklist of our ideal partner's attributes: their height, their hair color, their job, their hobbies. While having clarity is useful, fixating on a superficial checklist is like trying to order a gourmet meal by describing the color of the plate it will be served on. You are focusing on the container, not the substance. The universe does not respond to a list of traits. It responds to a vibrational request, a feeling state. A far more potent practice is to shift your focus from the specifics of the person to the feeling of the relationship. Take some time to sit quietly and ask yourself, how do I truly want to feel in my ideal relationship? Do you want to feel cherished, secure, understood, and safe? Do you want to feel inspired, adventurous, playful, and completely free to be yourself. Identify these core feelings. These feelings have a frequency. Your work is to then begin cultivating those feelings within your own life. For yourself, right now, if you want to feel cherished, start cherishing yourself. If you want to feel secure, find ways to create security in your own life. If you want to feel playful, go out and be playful. By generating the feeling of the desired relationship within your own being, you become the tuning fork that summons a partner who naturally resonates with that exact emotional harmony. They will show up not because they check all the boxes on your list, but because they are a perfect vibrational match to the feeling state you have cultivated. To broadcast this new, clear signal of love, you must first decommission the old, static-filled broadcasts of past hurts. So many people are carrying the energetic ghosts of relationships past, holding on to anger, grief, or resentment toward an ex-partner is the energetic equivalent of trying to invite a new guest into your home while the old one is still living there. Making a mess and playing loud, disruptive music. That old, unresolved energy occupies a massive amount of your vibrational bandwidth. It keeps you tethered to a low-frequency state of blame and victimhood, making it impossible to tune to the high frequency of new love. The sacred act of forgiveness is therefore not a gift you give to the other person. It is an act of profound energetic liberation for yourself. Forgiveness does not mean you are condoning their behavior or that you have to be their friend. It simply means you are making a conscious decision to no longer allow their memory to contaminate your present-day frequency. As the great spiritual teacher Marianne Williamson illuminates in her work, A Return to Love, all fear is an illusion, and love is the only truth. To forgive is to release the illusion of the grievance and return to the truth of love, freeing your own heart from its self-imposed prison. This entire process is about shifting from the destructive myth of the other half to the empowering reality of the whole individual. The romanticized idea that you are an incomplete half, searching for another half to make you whole, is a recipe for codependency and disappointment. That is a relationship built on need. The goal is to do the inner work to become a whole, happy, and self-loving individual first. Then, you attract another whole, happy, and self-loving individual, and the two of you come together not out of need, but out of a shared desire to enhance each other's already joyful experience. Be the person you wish to attract. If you want a partner who is honest and compassionate, you must be honest and compassionate. If you want someone who is emotionally mature and adventurous, you must cultivate emotional maturity and adventure in your own life. You are the magnet. Your inner state determines what you draw to you. So fall in love with your own life. Fill your own cup until it overflows. Become so radiant with self-love and genuine joy that you are a lighthouse, a beacon of high-frequency energy. From that state, the right ship will have no trouble finding your shore. It will be guided to you by the unmistakable light of a love that was lit from within. While broadcasting our desired frequency is powerful, sometimes our signal is drowned out by internal static. We must learn to identify and silence the voice of the inner critic. We have arrived at the very heart of the inner work, the primary battlefield where our frequency is won or lost. We have spoken of the necessity of self-love, as the foundation for attracting love from the outside world. But for so many, the moment they attempt to plant a single seed of self-appreciation, a harsh, relentless, and cruelly familiar voice rises from within to stomp it into the ground. It is the voice that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" It is the voice that sneers, "You'll never be good enough." It is the voice that screams, "You're a fraud." And everyone is about to find out. This internal narrator, this saboteur in the control room, this roommate from hell that lives in your own head, is the inner critic. And silencing it, or more accurately, learning to disarm it, is the most crucial skill you will ever develop in the art of managing your own frequency. For this single voice is the source of more low-frequency, self-sabotaging broadcasts than all other external factors combined. To disarm this enemy, you must first understand its origins. The inner critic is not you. It is not the voice of your soul, and it is not an inherent part of your true nature. It is a phantom, a ghost, a deeply ingrained psychological program that was installed in you long ago. It is the internalized voice of every authority figure who ever tried to control you or keep you safe through criticism and fear. It's the voice of a parent who, trying to protect you from disappointment, said, "Don't get your hopes up." It's the voice of a teacher who, trying to motivate you, pointed out your every mistake on a paper. It's the composite voice of a society and media landscape that constantly broadcasts messages of inadequacy, that you are not thin enough, rich enough, successful enough, or perfect enough. These external voices, repeated over and over during your formative years when you had no filter, were recorded and became a subroutine in your subconscious program. The critic's primary function, as misguided as it is protective. It believes that by constantly pointing out your flaws and potential for failure, it can keep you from taking risks, from getting hurt, from being rejected or abandoned. It is a primitive survival mechanism that would rather see you safe and small in a prison of your own making than happy and expansive in a world of infinite possibility and potential pain. The critic's power is derived from one single, devastating illusion: your belief that its voice is your own. You think you are the one thinking these terrible things about yourself. The moment you see through this illusion is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. The most fundamental step in this process is disidentification. You must learn to create a space between the real you, the silent, aware consciousness that is reading these words, and the noisy, repetitive thoughts of the critic. Imagine your true self. Your soul is the vast, silent, blue sky. The thoughts and pronouncements of the inner critic are merely dark, stormy clouds that drift through the sky. You are not the clouds. You have never been the clouds. You are the sky that is effortlessly aware of the clouds passing by. When that thought, "I'm not good enough," arises, instead of grabbing onto it and believing it, you can simply step back and observe it. You can say to yourself, there is that not good enough cloud again. Interesting, this simple act of detached observation breaks the spell. By refusing to identify with the thought, you rob it of its emotional charge and its power over you. You go from being a prisoner inside the storm to being the calm, spacious sky watching the storm from a safe distance. Once you have created this space of observation, you can begin to employ practical techniques to actively disarm the critic. The first is to give it a name. Take it out of the abstract and personify it. And don't give it a powerful, scary name. Give it a slightly ridiculous one, like Gremlin, or Nervous Norman, or General Fear. This act of naming does two things. It externalizes the voice, reinforcing that it is not you, and it uses humor to diminish its perceived authority. It's much harder to take a voice seriously when you've named it worry-warty. When the voice pipes up, you can greet it by name. Well, hello there, Gremlin. I was wondering when you'd show up. The next technique is to compassionately acknowledge its misguided intention. Remember, the critic thinks it's helping, fighting it, arguing with it, or trying to violently suppress it is like wrestling with a pig in the mud. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. An argument gives it the energy of your attention. Instead, try disarming it with kindness. You can say, "Listen, Gremlin, I hear you. I know you're scared that if I try this, I might fail. And you're just trying to protect me from that pain. I appreciate you looking out for me based on the old data you have. But I'm the boss now, and I'm choosing to try something new. I've got this compassionate response validates the feeling of fear without validating the limiting belief, and it gently but firmly reasserts your position as the conscious creator of your life. Humor is the critic's kryptonite. This fearful, serious part of our ego has no defense against genuine laughter. When that familiar doom and gloom voice starts its monologue in your head, you're going to make a fool of yourself. Everyone will see you fail. This is a disaster. Interrupt the pattern. Imagine the voice saying those same words, but in the squeaky, high-pitched voice of a cartoon mouse. Imagine a tiny, trembling hamster delivering this dire warning. The sheer absurdity of it shatters the hypnotic, emotional power of the thought. You will likely find yourself smiling, or even laughing out loud. In that moment of laughter, you have broken the state of fear. You have scrambled its low-frequency broadcast with a high-frequency jolt of mirth. This is a powerful form of pattern interruption that you can use at any moment to break free from a negative thought loop. This entire struggle is perfectly encapsulated in a timeless piece of wisdom, a Cherokee parable of two wolves. An elder is teaching his grandson about life. He says, "A fight is going on inside me. It is a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, and ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth. The same fight is going on inside you, and inside every other person, too." The grandson thinks about it for a minute, and then asks his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replies, "The one you feed." Your inner critic is the wolf of fear. Every single moment that you spend believing its stories, analyzing its criticisms, arguing with its logic, or wallowing in the negative feelings it generates. You are feeding that wolf. You are making it stronger, fatter, and more dominant. Conversely, every time you choose to disidentify from the critic, to thank it and dismiss it, and to consciously choose a thought of self-compassion, forgiveness, or gratitude, you are feeding the wolf of love. Your focused attention is the food. The choice of which wolf to feed is yours, and yours alone, in every single moment. This is the ultimate act of self-responsibility. It is the practice of consciously choosing which thoughts you will energize, which internal voice will become the dominant frequency in your own mind. It is not about waiting for the critic to disappear. It is about actively and deliberately building up the voice of your inner ally until it becomes so strong, so clear, and so resonant that the whispers of the critic are nothing more than a faint, irrelevant noise in the background. Mastering this internal dialogue is the final frontier of personal freedom, ensuring your broadcast tower is sending out a signal not of fear and self-reproach, but of unwavering self-worth and love. Once we learn to manage our internal environment, how do we protect our frequency from the external world? This involves creating energetic boundaries, having journeyed deep into the mind to confront and disarm the inner critic. We have begun the sacred work of cleaning our internal house. We have started to sweep away the dust of self-doubt and wash the windows of our perception, allowing the light of our own high frequency to shine more brightly. But once your inner sanctuary is clean and peaceful, you face a new challenge. You must now learn to guard the door. You have meticulously tuned your own instrument, but you still have to live in a world filled with discordant noises, a world where other people's fears, dramas, and unhealed traumas can easily throw your perfect harmony out of tune. This is where we must learn the art of creating energetic boundaries. This is not an act of building a wall to shut the world out, but rather a conscious, loving act of self-preservation. Like placing a priceless violin back into its velvet-lined case after a beautiful performance. It is about protecting the sanctity of your own vibration. To understand how this works, we must remember the fundamental physics of resonance and entrainment. We are all vibrating energy fields, constantly interacting with and influencing one another. When two frequencies come into contact, the lower frequency will naturally be pulled up toward the higher one, or the higher frequency will be pulled down. This is why spending time with a joyful, optimistic person can lift your spirits, and conversely, why spending time with a deeply negative or unhappy person can leave you feeling drained, heavy, and exhausted. Unless your own frequency is exceptionally strong and well anchored, you are highly susceptible to being pulled down by the dominant low-frequency energies in your environment. This feeling of being drained is not just your imagination, it is a real, tangible transfer of your vital life force, energy. You have been the unwitting victim of an energetic contagion. In this context, we must speak of the phenomenon often referred to as energy vampires. This is not a judgment or a condemnation of other people. Most individuals who drain energy are not malicious or evil. They are often deeply wounded and are acting from a place of unconscious pain and lack. They have forgotten how to generate their own life force energy. so they have learned to siphon it from those around them. We can identify a few common archetypes. There is the victim, who constantly complains about their problems and recounts their endless tales of woe. They are not looking for solutions. They are looking for a sympathetic ear to pour their low-frequency energy into, leaving you feeling depleted and heavy with their burdens. There is the critic, who drains your energy by constantly judging, belittling, and finding fault, using negativity to assert their own sense of superiority and lowering your frequency with every pointed remark. And there is the drama magnet, who thrives on chaos and crisis, constantly stirring up turmoil and pulling you into the vortex of their emotionally charged stories. If you are a naturally compassionate or empathetic person, you are a prime target for these dynamics, as your default setting is to offer your own energy to soothe the pain of others, often to your own detriment. The primary tool for establishing a boundary against these dynamics is a single, powerful, and for many, terrifyingly difficult word: no. For those conditioned to be people pleasers, saying no can feel selfish, harsh, or unkind. You must reframe this understanding completely. Saying no to something that you know will drain your energy is not a rejection of the other person. It is a resounding yes to yourself. It is a yes to your peace of mind, a yes to your vitality, and a yes to maintaining the high frequency you have worked so hard to cultivate. People-pleasing is a form of energetic suicide. It is handing the controls of your vibrational state over to someone else and allowing their needs and dramas to dictate your reality. You can learn to say no with grace and love, but also with unshakable firmness. You do not need to provide a long, elaborate excuse. Thank you for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it. I love you, but I do not have the emotional or energetic capacity to discuss this with you right now. That does not feel right for me. These are complete sentences. They are powerful declarations of self-sovereignty. The most effective way to understand this is through the analogy of your home. Imagine you have spent an entire weekend cleaning your house from top to bottom. The floors are sparkling. The air is fresh. Everything is in its place. Your home is a sanctuary of peace and order. Then, a friend knocks on your door. You open it, and you see they are covered in mud from head to toe. They want to come in, walk all over your clean carpets, and sit on your white sofa. What would you do? You would, without hesitation, politely but firmly say, "I'd love for you to come in, but could you please take off your muddy boots and jacket first?" You are not rejecting your friend. You are protecting the integrity and cleanliness of your home. Your personal energy field is your sacred inner home. You have every right, and indeed a profound responsibility, to decide what kind of energy you allow inside. You are not required to let anyone track their energetic mud, their negativity, their complaints, their unsolicited criticism all over your inner sanctuary. Beyond reactive measures like saying no, you can also practice proactive, energetic protection. One of the most ancient and effective techniques is the visualization of a shield or bubble of light. This is an act of programming your own energy field with a protective intention before you start your day, or before you enter a situation you know might be challenging. Take a few moments to sit quietly, Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and imagine a brilliant, shimmering sphere of light forming all around you, completely encapsulating you from head to toe. You can visualize it as a radiant white light, a brilliant gold, or a protective violet flame. As you build this shield in your mind, set a clear and powerful intention for it. You might say, either out loud or in your mind, "This shield of light protects me from all discordant and negative energies. Only energies of love, light, and the highest good may enter my space. Any and all lower energies are instantly neutralized or are returned to their sender with love and compassion." This is not just a fantasy. You are using your powerful consciousness to create a real, energetic boundary, a semi-permeable membrane that filters the frequencies you are exposed to. With practice, this becomes a powerful and automatic part of your energetic anatomy. Finally, we must expand our concept of energetic boundaries beyond people and apply it to the information we consume. In our digital age, we are constantly bombarded by external noise. The news cycle, social media feeds, television shows, these are massive, powerful broadcasts of frequency. And more often than not, it is a frequency of fear, outrage, division, comparison, and lack. To consume this content indiscriminately is the equivalent of eating energetic junk food all day long. It clogs your system, pollutes your mind, and lowers your vibration. Protecting your frequency requires that you go on a conscious information diet. This means curating your social media feeds to unfollow accounts that make you feel angry or inadequate. It means making a conscious choice to unplug from the 24/7 cycle of fear-based news. It means choosing to watch movies and read books that uplift and inspire you, rather than those that leave you feeling anxious or hopeless. This is not about burying your head in the sand. It is about recognizing that you are the sole gatekeeper of your consciousness, and you have the power to choose what you allow to enter your sacred inner space. Building energetic boundaries is the essential art of becoming a guardian of your own peace. It is about understanding that your energy is your most precious resource, the very currency of creation, and it is your sacred duty to protect it, so that you may use it to build the beautiful world you came here to create. Protecting our frequency is crucial, but deliberately elevating it is the goal. One of the fastest ways to do this is through the profound power of gratitude. Having learned to stand as sovereign guardians of our own energetic space, protecting our inner peace from both internal critics and external noise, we now turn to the most joyful and potent practice in the Conscious Creator's Toolkit. We move from the defensive posture of protection to the joyful, offensive act of deliberate frequency elevation. If there were a single master key, a universal shortcut that could instantly dissolve negativity, align you with your desires, and open the floodgates of universal abundance, it would be this one. Simple, yet profoundly transformative state, the frequency of gratitude. This is not the polite, mechanical thank you of social custom. This is a deep, resonant, and palpable energetic state, a conscious choice to tune your entire being to the vibration of appreciation. Gratitude is the ultimate pattern interrupt for fear, lack, and despair, and it is the most direct and rapid path back to your creative power. The immense power of gratitude can be understood through the simple physics of frequency and focus. Your mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts simultaneously. It is impossible to feel genuine, heartfelt gratitude and, in the same moment, feel fear, resentment, or lack. The two frequencies are mutually exclusive. One immediately cancels out the other. When you are lost in a spiral of worry about the future or regret about the past, the conscious act of finding something to be grateful for yanks your focus out of that low-frequency mire and places it firmly in the high-frequency reality of what is good, what is working, and what you already possess. It instantly changes your point of attraction. It tells the universe, through a clear and powerful signal, this is what I am focusing on. This feeling of appreciation is who I am, and the universe, which is a flawless mirror, must, by law, reflect more experiences, circumstances, and people into your life that match that frequency, giving you even more to be grateful for. It is the most powerful and elegant feedback loop in creation. Gratitude is the ultimate affirmation, a declaration to the cosmos that says, I see the goodness that is already here. I acknowledge it. I appreciate it. And I am in harmony with it. The universe hears this clear signal of contentment and responds with a resounding, You love what I have provided. Excellent. Here is more. This is not just spiritual philosophy, it is verifiable science. When you practice gratitude, you are literally changing your brain chemistry and your physiology for the better. Neuroscientists have shown that cultivating feelings of appreciation stimulates the hypothalamus, a crucial region of the brain that regulates everything from sleep and appetite to body temperature and metabolism. More importantly, gratitude has been proven to boost the production of two of the most critical neurotransmitters for our well-being, dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is the molecule of pleasure and reward. The chemical released when you achieve a goal or experience something enjoyable. Serotonin is the key regulator of mood, and low levels of it are directly linked to depression and anxiety. By consciously generating feelings of gratitude, you are essentially turning on your own internal pharmacy, flooding your system with the most effective, all-natural antidepressants and mood elevators known to science, all without a single negative side effect. This is why a consistent gratitude practice can profoundly impact your mental health, melt away stress, and create a baseline state of peaceful, joyful well-being. Perhaps no one has translated this ancient wisdom into a more practical, modern formula than Rhonda Byrne in her book, The Magic. Following her world-changing work in The Secret, she realized that the missing piece for so many people was the active, daily practice of gratitude. As the engine to power the law of attraction, The Magic lays out a 28-day journey, a training regimen to rewire your brain and retune your energetic field to the frequency of gratitude. The practices are simple yet profound. One day, you might be instructed to start your morning by making a list of 10 things in your life you are grateful for, from the grand to the mundane, and for each one, to write down why you are grateful and to feel the emotion as deeply as possible. Another practice involves finding a magic rock, a simple, smooth stone that you carry in your pocket. Every time you touch it throughout the day, You use it as a trigger to pause and think of one thing you are currently grateful for. She guides you to direct tidal waves of gratitude towards specific areas of your life. You wish to improve your health, your career, your finances, and your relationships, magically transforming them through the power of sincere appreciation. What these daily practices do is shift gratitude from a fleeting, occasional feeling into a dominant, habitual state of being. It transforms you at a fundamental level into a person who naturally looks for the good and therefore experiences more of it. Of course, the inner critic will immediately raise an objection. This is easy to say when things are going well. But how can I possibly feel grateful when my life is a mess? This is a valid question. And the answer lies in starting small. You do not have to feel grateful for the problem. You do not have to pretend to be happy that you are in debt or that your heart is broken. But you can, with a little effort, find something to be grateful for in spite of the problem. This is your anchor, your lifeline back to a higher frequency. If everything else feels like it is falling apart, can you feel grateful for the breath that is still flowing into your lungs? A sign that life is still supporting you. Can you feel grateful for the bed you slept in, the roof over your head, a warm cup of coffee? Can you feel gratitude for the lesson the hardship is teaching you, for the strength and resilience you are discovering within yourself? These small anchors of appreciation are enough. They are the crack in the dark wall where the light can get in. By focusing on them, you begin to shift your energy, ever so slightly, and from that slightly higher place, you will be able to see something else to be grateful for, and then something else. Make this an active, daily ritual. Start a gratitude journal and commit to writing in it every single morning or evening. Go on what some call a rampage of appreciation, where you simply look around your environment and start speaking out loud everything you see that you are thankful for, letting the momentum build into a powerful state of joy. And one of the most powerful practices of all is to express your gratitude directly to others. Call a friend who has always been there for you and tell them what their friendship means to you. Write a letter to a former teacher or mentor who made a difference in your life. Thank the person who serves you your coffee. When you actively express gratitude, you not only elevate your own frequency, but you elevate theirs as well, creating a beautiful, powerful ripple of positivity that expands out into the world. Gratitude is the ultimate state of allowing. It is the frequency of reception. It is the recognition that the good you desire is already here, that the universe is a place of infinite benevolence, and that you are worthy of its gifts. It is the fastest, most direct, and most joyful path back to vibrational alignment with your highest self. Gratitude aligns us with what we have. But what about action? How does inspired action differ from hard work in this new paradigm? We have now learned to calibrate our internal world, to guard our frequency, and to elevate our state of being through the profound power of gratitude. We are tuned, we are protected, and we are resonating with the vibration of our desires. But what now? We live in a physical world that seems to demand action. This brings us to a critical crossroads, a fundamental split in the path between the old paradigm of reality creation and the new. For centuries, we have been indoctrinated into the cult of hard work, We have been taught to glorify the grind, to celebrate the hustle, to believe that the only path to success is paved with struggle, sacrifice, and relentless, often joyless, effort. And while this model has certainly produced results for some, it has done so at an immense cost: burnout, anxiety, broken health, and a pervasive sense that life is an uphill battle. But what if this entire paradigm is based on a misunderstanding of power? What if the universe doesn't reward struggle? What if there is a more elegant, more powerful, and infinitely more joyful way of taking action? A way that flows not from a sense of lack, but from a place of pure, effortless alignment. This is the crucial distinction between forced, hard work and pure, inspired action. Let's first analyze the frequency of hard work. As it is commonly understood, the very concept is rooted in the energy of lack and resistance. It operates on the core assumption that your desired reality is not your natural state, that the universe is inherently resistant to your success, and therefore, you must use brute force to wrestle it into submission. It is the energetic equivalent of trying to push a giant boulder up a hill. It requires immense, draining effort, and the moment you stop pushing, the boulder rolls right back down. When you are operating from this frequency, you are sending a deeply conflicted signal to the universe. With your words, you might be saying, "I want success and ease." But with your energy and your core belief system, you are screaming, "I believe I have to suffer and struggle to achieve anything." The universe, which always responds to your deepest, most dominant frequency, will dutifully oblige. It will deliver a reality that perfectly matches your belief. A reality where success, if it comes at all, is indeed a grueling, exhausting, and painful struggle. You have made it so. Now, let's contrast this with the nature of inspired action. Inspired action is not the cause of your manifestation. It is the effect of your vibrational alignment. It is the final, physical step in a creative process that has already been completed on an energetic level. After you have done the real work, the inner work of clarifying your vision, generating the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and releasing your resistance, the universe begins to move and orchestrate the how. Inspired action is the universe tapping you on the shoulder and whispering, "Okay, we've lined everything up. Now, just take this one easy, obvious next step." Inspired action feels completely different from hard work. It doesn't feel like a burden, a chore, or an obligation. It feels light, exciting, joyful, and often effortless. It's the sudden, brilliant idea that pops into your head while you're in the shower. It is the inexplicable urge to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. It is the feeling of being pulled or guided towards something, rather than pushing yourself toward it. The perfect metaphor to illustrate this is the writer experiencing writer's block. The writer operating from the hard work paradigm will chain themselves to their desk for hours. They will clench their jaw, stare at the blinking cursor, and try to force the words onto the page. They are operating from a low frequency of frustration and resistance. The action is painful. the results are poor, and the process leads to burnout. The writer operating from the new paradigm understands that the writer's block is not a problem with their work ethic. It is a signal of their vibrational misalignment. Instead of forcing it, they let go. They step away from the desk. They go for a walk in nature. They listen to their favorite music. They play with their child. They do whatever it takes to shift their frequency back to a state of joy and ease. Then, in that relaxed, receptive state, the magic happens. The perfect plot twist, the elegant turn of phrase, the solution to the entire chapter simply downloads into their awareness. It arrives not as a product of force, but as a gift of grace. They then feel a sudden, joyful impulse to write. They are not pushing themselves to the desk. They are being joyfully pulled. They rush back, and the words flow out effortlessly, with a quality and clarity that was unavailable to them in their state of struggle. They didn't work harder, they aligned better. Learning to recognize the signals of inspired action is a crucial skill. The first indicator is how it feels in your body. Forced action feels constrictive, heavy, and draining. It comes with a mental list of pros and cons, a sense of obligation. Inspired action feels expansive. It creates a feeling of excitement, lightness, and even eagerness in your solar plexus. It feels like a yes on a cellular level. Secondly, inspired action can often seem illogical to your conscious mind. The urge might be to suddenly drive down a different street on your way home, or to pick up a book on a subject you've never been interested in before. Your logical mind might protest, but your intuition, your soul's GPS, knows that this seemingly random detour is a crucial shortcut on the path the universe has laid out for you. Finally, inspired action is characterized by a sense of flow and synchronicity. When you follow a genuine, inspired impulse, the path seems to clear before you. The person you were urged to call answers on the first ring. The website you were guided to has the exact piece of information you need. It feels as though you are a canoe flowing effortlessly with a powerful current. Forced action feels like paddling upstream against the current, hitting every rock and snag along the way. This leads to a crucial question. What do you do while you are waiting for the inspired impulse to strike? Does this mean you just sit on the couch and do nothing? The fear of being seen as lazy is a powerful remnant of the old paradigm. The key is to understand the concept of active waiting. Your new job, your primary work, is no longer to make things happen. Your primary work is to achieve and maintain a high frequency, joyful state of being. So, while you are waiting for the impulse for physical action, you are actively engaged in the real work. You are meditating. You are practicing gratitude. You are visualizing. You are spending time in nature. You are enjoying your hobbies. You are doing anything and everything that makes you feel good and keeps you in a state of alignment. You are tending to your vibrational garden with the utmost care. You must trust that when the time is right, when all the pieces are in place behind the scenes, the impulse to act will be clear, strong, and undeniable. To force action before that moment is to pull the cake out of the oven before it's finished baking. You must trust the timing of the cosmic kitchen. This is a profound shift from a culture that values being busy to a paradigm that values being aligned. The measure of your productivity is no longer the sweat on your brow, but the joy in your heart. Your actions, when they come, will be infinitely more powerful, precise, and effective, because they will be born not from the limited strength of your own ego, but from the infinite, intelligent, and supportive power of an aligned universe. As we master our personal frequency, we begin to notice our impact on the world around us. This brings us to the concept of the collective consciousness. Up to this point, our entire journey has been deeply personal. We have focused on mastering the inner world to create a desired personal reality, our health, our wealth, our relationships. We have operated under the assumption that we are a single, sovereign broadcast tower, sending our unique signal out into the universe. But now, we must zoom out to pull the camera back from our individual lives and reveal a truth that is as staggering as it is profound. You are not a solitary tower. You are a single, vital cell in the vast, interconnected brain of humanity. You are a single drop of water in the immense, roiling ocean of consciousness. The illusion of separation is the most pervasive and convincing illusion we experience. But on the energetic level, we are all inextricably linked. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, does not simply dissipate into nothingness. It ripples out from you and merges with a planetary energy field known as the collective consciousness. And by elevating your own frequency, you are not just changing your own life, you are participating in the evolution and healing of the entire world. The collective consciousness is the psychic and energetic atmosphere of our planet. It is the sum total of every thought, feeling, belief, hope, fear, and dream of every human being who is currently alive, and perhaps even of those who have come before. It is the invisible ocean in which we all swim. Have you ever felt a wave of inexplicable sadness or anxiety on a day when your own life was going perfectly well? You may have been tapping into a current of collective grief or fear. Conversely, have you ever felt a surge of hope and excitement during a moment of global celebration or triumph? That is you resonating with a high-frequency wave in the collective field. This field is not static. It is dynamic and constantly shifting, influenced by world events, celestial cycles, and most importantly, by the individual contributions of all 7 billion of us. Every time you engage in an act of kindness, you add a drop of high-frequency love to this ocean. Every time you get lost in a spiral of judgment or fear, you add a drop of low-frequency pollution. Your inner state has a global impact. This idea is beautifully illustrated by a story that has become a powerful modern parable, the phenomenon of the 100th monkey. As the story goes, scientists in the 1950s were observing colonies of Japanese macaque monkeys on several isolated islands. On one island, a brilliant young female monkey named Emo figured out that she could wash the sand off her sweet potatoes by dipping them in a nearby stream, making them much more enjoyable to eat. She soon taught this trick to her mother and her playmates. For a long time, only a small number of monkeys on this one island practiced this new skill. But then, one day, something extraordinary happened. When a hypothetical critical number, let's call it the 100th monkey, learned to wash its sweet potatoes, the consciousness of the entire species seemed to reach a tipping point. Suddenly, and without any physical contact or communication, monkeys on all the other islands began washing their sweet potatoes. It was as if the new idea had been uploaded to a central monkey consciousness and broadcast to the entire species once a critical mass had been achieved. While the scientific accuracy of this specific story has been debated, its power as a metaphor is undeniable. It illustrates a profound spiritual truth, a new consciousness, a new way of being, can spread non-locally through the collective field. Once enough individual minds adopt it, a small group of awakened individuals can literally raise the consciousness of the whole. If the 100th monkey story is a parable, then the Maharishi effect provides the stunning scientific proof in a series of rigorously designed sociological experiments in the 1980s and 90s. Teams of researchers sought to test this very principle. They would gather a large group of people trained in advanced meditation techniques and bring them to a major city known for its high crime rate, such as Washington, D.C. For a period of several weeks, this group would do nothing but meditate together for hours each day, focusing on creating and radiating feelings of peace, harmony, and coherence. Meanwhile, independent sociologists and criminologists, often unaware of the experiment's full purpose, would meticulously track the city's crime statistics. The results were astounding and statistically irrefutable. During the periods when the group was meditating, the city's violent crime rate dropped significantly, in some cases by as much as 25%. When the meditators packed up and left, the crime rate predictably rose back to its previous levels. This experiment has been replicated multiple times with similar results. What does this prove? It proves that a relatively small number of people, by achieving a state of high-frequency internal coherence and broadcasting it outward, can literally reduce the amount of discord, violence, and chaos in the surrounding collective field. They were acting as a giant tuning fork of peace, and their powerful, coherent frequency was compelling the chaotic energy of the city to resonate with it, creating a more harmonious state. This brings the immense power and responsibility of your own inner work into sharp focus. Your daily practice of meditation, of gratitude, of managing your inner critic, is not a selfish act. It is an act of profound planetary service. You are not just creating a better life for yourself, you are adding a potent, healing frequency to the collective human experience. In a world saturated with the low-frequency broadcasts of fear, division, and outrage from mass media and political discourse, you have a choice. You can either be a passive consumer of that static, allowing it to lower your own vibration and in turn contribute to the collective anxiety, or you can decide to become a conscious, sovereign broadcaster of a different frequency altogether. This is the sacred role of a frequency anchor or a lighthouse. Imagine a stormy sea at night, with giant waves of chaos and fear crashing everywhere. A lighthouse does not run around the island trying to save each individual ship from the storm. That would be impossible and exhausting. The lighthouse has only one job: to anchor itself firmly to the rock, to tend to its own light, and to shine that light as brightly and steadily as possible. By simply being a stable, brilliant beacon, it allows all ships in the vicinity to navigate the storm more safely. They can orient themselves by its light. This is our role. It is not our job to fix the world or to force anyone else to change. Our job is to anchor ourselves so deeply in our own peace, in our own high frequency, that our very presence becomes a harmonizing influence on our environment. When you walk into a room, your calm energy can soothe a tense meeting. Your unspoken frequency of compassion can comfort a friend in distress. Your steady light gives others permission and a model for how to find their own. You become a walking, talking, tuning fork of peace, love, or joy, silently and effortlessly elevating the vibration of everyone you interact with. This understanding transforms your spiritual practice from a personal development project into a global mission. The greatest gift you can ever give to humanity is the mastery of your own vibration. As you heal yourself, you offer healing to the world. As you find peace within, you broadcast peace into the collective. You are not separate from the world's problems. You are a part of the energetic fabric that creates them. And therefore, you are an indispensable part of the solution. Every conscious breath, every moment of gratitude, every choice to forgive ripples out from you in ways you may never fully comprehend, contributing to the dawning of a new consciousness for all of humanity. Understanding our connection to the whole can sometimes feel overwhelming. To maintain our power, we must anchor ourselves in the only time that truly exists, the present moment. Having expanded our awareness to embrace our connection to the collective consciousness, the mind can begin to feel overwhelmed. We've explored the echoes of our past programming, the pull of our future desires, and the immense, interconnected ocean of global thought. It is easy to get lost in this vast, sprawling timeline of what was, what could be, and what everyone else is thinking. So now, we must bring our focus back from the periphery, back from the sprawling complexities of past and future, and anchor it in the only place where true power has ever existed, the only place where life is ever actually happening. We must return to the profound, simple, and all-powerful sanctuary of the present moment, the now. For the past is but a memory, and the future is but a fantasy. Your point of power is always and only now. Our minds are conditioned to live anywhere but here. We are taught to perpetually dwell on two great illusions, the past and the future. The past exists only as a thought form, an energetic echo that we choose to reactivate in the present. When we live in the past through regret, resentment, guilt, or nostalgia, we are consciously choosing to tune our broadcast tower to an old, outdated frequency. We are telling our subconscious mind and the universe, this unresolved energy from the past is my current reality. And so, we find ourselves recreating the same patterns, attracting the same types of relationships, and experiencing the same frustrations over and over again. We are trapped in a feedback loop, haunted by the energetic ghosts of our own making. The future is a similar illusion. It exists only as a mental projection, an act of imagination. When we live in the future through anxiety, worry, and fear, We are using our powerful creative faculties to meticulously pre-pave our path with the very energies we do not wish to experience. We are praying for what we don't want. Both regret and anxiety are thieves. They steal your presence. They drain your vitality. And they rob you of your power. Because the only place you can ever choose a new thought, generate a new feeling, or broadcast a new signal is right here, in the stillness of the now. The present moment is not merely a fleeting sliver of time between the past and the future. It is something else entirely. It is the portal. It is the eternal doorway through which the formless becomes form. In physics, there is a concept known as the zero-point field, which is understood to be a field of infinite energy and potentiality from which all matter arises. This is the scientific term for the quantum field, the universal consciousness, the formless substance that Wallace Wattles spoke of. The present moment is your personal access point to this field. When your mind is lost in thought about your personal history, your past failures, your limiting beliefs, you are operating from a finite field of old, recycled data. But when you become fully present, when your mind becomes still, you drop the heavy baggage of your personal story. You disconnect from the limitations of your past, and you plug directly into this infinite field of pure potential. In that moment of presence, you are no longer broadcasting a signal based on who you have been. You are broadcasting a new, clean, powerful signal directly from the source of all creation, from the 0 point where anything is possible. No one in our modern era has illuminated this truth more powerfully than Eckhart Tolle. His teachings, crystallized in his seminal audiobook, The Power of Now, were born from his own night of profound suffering. As a young man, he was tormented by a suicidal depression so relentless that one night he was struck by the thought, "I cannot live with myself any longer." In that moment, a profound question arose: if I cannot live with myself, then there must be two of me. There is the I, and there is the self that the I cannot tolerate. This sudden split in his perception caused his thinking mind, with all its stories of a painful past and a terrifying future, to collapse under the weight of its own misery. In the ensuing silence, he was pulled into a vortex of pure, blissful presence. He realized that the self he couldn't live with was his ego, the collection of thoughts, memories, and identities that created all his suffering. The I was the timeless, formless, silent awareness behind it all. He discovered that all human suffering is created by the mind's incessant resistance to the present moment, and that all peace, love, and joy are found by surrendering to what is right now. This state of presence is not an esoteric concept reserved for spiritual masters. It is your natural state, and you can access it with simple, practical tools. The most direct path back to the now is through your physical senses. When you feel yourself being pulled into a spiral of worry or regret, simply pause, take a deep breath, and deliberately notice 5 things you can see in your immediate environment. Don't label or judge them. Just see the colors, the shapes. Then notice 4 things. You can physically feel the pressure of the chair beneath you, the texture of your clothes against your skin, the cool air on your face. Notice 3 things. You can hear the distant hum of traffic, the sound of your own breathing. Notice 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste. This simple exercise, which takes less than a minute, forces your attention out of the abstract world of thought and anchors it firmly in the tangible, sensory reality of the present moment. Another powerful anchor is your breath. You cannot take a breath in the past or in the future. Your breath is always only now. By simply closing your eyes and feeling the sensation of the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving your body, you tether your awareness to the rhythm of the now. Or you can practice feeling the inner body. Another of Tolle's key techniques: close your eyes and feel the subtle tingle of aliveness in your hands. Feel the energy field within your feet, your legs, your entire body. This inner awareness is a direct portal to presence, a way of feeling the life that you are, underneath the stories that you tell yourself. When you begin to operate from this state of presence, your entire creative process changes. You are no longer desperately broadcasting a signal of needing something to happen in the future to make you happy. You have found a deep sense of peace and wholeness right where you are. This state of non-resistance, of profound allowing, is the most powerful frequency you can embody. In the stillness of the now, the frantic demands of your ego quiet down, and you can finally hear the subtle whispers of your soul, the impulses of true inspired action. Any action taken from this state of presence is infinitely more powerful and effective. It is not contaminated by the fearful static of the past or the anxious static of the future. It is a pure, coherent action, taken from the 0-point field where all things are possible. The present moment is not a bridge to be crossed on your way to a better future. It is the destination itself. It is your eternal home, your sanctuary from the noise of the world, and the sacred ground from which all new realities are born. Living in the now, broadcasting a clear signal. What happens when our manifestation arrives? We must learn how to receive. Having anchored ourselves in the creative sanctuary of the present moment, we have become a pure, clear broadcast of our desired frequency. We are no longer transmitting a signal contaminated by the regrets of the past or the fears of the future. We are present. We are aligned. And the universe, in its perfect and unfailing responsiveness, begins to answer our call. The synchronicities become more frequent. The opportunities begin to appear, and the first trickles of our manifested desires begin to flow into our lives. And it is here, at this crucial moment of arrival, that many well-intentioned creators stumble and fall. We have spent so much time learning how to ask, how to broadcast, and how to send our signal, that we have forgotten the most vital and final part of the equation. We must learn how to receive. Consider this simple, all too common scenario. Someone offers you a genuine, heartfelt compliment. They say, "That color looks absolutely stunning on you." Or, "That was a brilliant point you made in the meeting." What is the immediate, reflexive response for so many of us? We deflect, we diminish. We say, "Oh, this old thing, I got it on sale." Or no, I was just rambling. We do the same with gifts, with offers of help, with unexpected opportunities. we feel a strange sense of discomfort, of awkwardness, of unworthiness. This seemingly innocent social habit is, in fact, a powerful and destructive energetic statement. It is a broadcast to the universe that says, on a deep, subconscious level, I am not worthy of receiving this good thing. I am uncomfortable with praise. I do not deserve this gift. And the universe, which takes our signals as literal commands, will eventually stop sending things that make us uncomfortable. The art of receiving is not a passive skill. It is an active and essential component of conscious creation. And for many, it is the final barrier that stands between them and a life of effortless abundance. The universe operates on a sacred rhythm of flow, like the rhythm of our own breath. Giving is the exhale, and receiving is the inhale. You cannot live a healthy life by only exhaling. You would quickly become depleted and faint. You cannot only inhale. The two actions are two sides of the same coin, equal, necessary, and divine. Many of us, particularly those who are kind, compassionate, and empathetic, have been conditioned to believe that it is noble to be a giver. We pride ourselves on our generosity and our willingness to help others. We are excellent exhalers, but we have been taught, subtly and insidiously, that there is something selfish, greedy, or egotistical about receiving. We have forgotten how to inhale. This creates a profound imbalance in our energetic system. By constantly giving without being open to receiving, we deplete our own life force. And by closing ourselves off to receiving, we are effectively building a dam that blocks the flow of universal abundance, support, and love from entering our lives. The root cause of this inability to receive is almost always the same: a deep-seated, subconscious feeling of unworthiness. It is the lingering echo of the inner critic, the residue of a lifetime of not feeling good enough. Your conscious mind may have done all the work to ask for more abundance, but your subconscious program, your inner thermostat, is still set to a frequency of I don't deserve it. So when something wonderful, a gift, an opportunity, a loving word tries to enter your reality, it creates a state of internal conflict. It contradicts the core program, your subconscious, whose primary job is to maintain the integrity of its existing beliefs, will immediately try to resolve this conflict by rejecting the good thing. This is the source of self-sabotage. It is why people win the lottery and lose it all. It is why someone finally enters a healthy relationship and then finds a way to push their partner away. Their energetic system is simply not calibrated to handle that much goodness. They have not yet expanded their capacity to receive. The most powerful way to visualize this is with the metaphor of an overturned cup. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a torrential, beautiful downpour of every good thing you could ever desire: love, joy, wealth, health, and inspiration are raining down from the heavens in a ceaseless, abundant shower. This is the true nature of the universe. It is always giving, always offering, always pouring its blessings upon you, but you are standing there, holding your cup, your consciousness, your capacity to receive upside down. The blessings splash harmlessly off the bottom of your cup. The life-giving rain pools around your feet, but you remain thirsty. your cup empty, you look up at the sky and complain, "Why am I not receiving my good? When is my manifestation going to arrive?" All while being drenched in the very abundance you claim to be lacking. The art of receiving is simply the courageous act of turning your cup upright. It is a gentle, internal shift of consciousness that says to the universe, "Yes, I am open. I am willing. I am worthy to receive." Becoming a gracious and powerful receiver is a skill you can cultivate with practice. The primary training ground is in your daily interactions. The next time someone pays you a compliment, treat it as a sacred training exercise. Your old programming will want to deflect, resist that urge. Pause. Take a deep breath. Look the person in the eye. Smile genuinely. And say, simply, "Thank you," or "Thank you. That's so kind of you to say." Let the positive energy of their words actually land. Feel it in your chest. Let it warm you. By doing this, you are retraining your nervous system to accept and integrate positive energy. The same goes for gifts and acts of service. When someone offers you a gift, receive it with unadulterated joy. Your joy is the greatest gift you can give back to the giver. When someone offers to help you, allow them. It is not a sign of weakness on your part. It is an act of grace that allows them the joy and good feeling of being of service. Each time you graciously receive, you are telling your subconscious mind, "See, this is who we are now. We are people who are worthy of receiving goodness." You are turning your cup upright. We can even reframe the act of receiving from something selfish into something deeply generous. When you allow another person to give to you, you are providing them with an opportunity to experience their own kindness and generosity, which is a high-frequency state. By refusing their gift, you are denying them that good feeling more profoundly. When you allow the universe to bless you with abundance, you are allowing the universe to express its own magnificent, benevolent nature through you. You become a conduit. By receiving fully, you fill your own cup so that it may overflow, and you, in turn, can give more freely and from a place of genuine plenty rather than from a place of depletion. You are not just receiving for yourself, you are receiving on behalf of the whole. A blocked receiver is a dam in the universal river of circulation. A gracious receiver is a vital, open channel that keeps the current of abundance flowing for everyone. This is the final piece of the puzzle of conscious creation. It is the ultimate declaration of your worthiness to the universe. It is looking your answered prayer in the eye and, with a heart full of gratitude, saying the two most powerful words of acceptance, "Thank you." As we become masters of broadcasting and receiving, we may encounter periods where nothing seems to happen. This is the divine timing at play. We have journeyed through the entire landscape of conscious creation. We have learnt to formulate our desire as a clear signal, to amplify it with the power of emotion, to rewrite our core programming, and to open ourselves to graciously receive the good that flows toward us. It would seem that we have completed the circuit, and yet there is one final, subtle, and often excruciatingly difficult test of faith that every creator must face. It is the period of time after you have done everything right. When you look out into your physical world and see nothing It is the silence after the prayer, the stillness after the broadcast, the seeming void between placing your cosmic order and the arrival of the delivery truck. This is the great cosmic pause, the sacred gestation period, and learning to navigate it with grace and trust is the final initiation into the art of mastery. The entire natural world is our greatest teacher on this subject. A farmer who wishes to grow a crop performs a series of intentional actions. He prepares the soil, he carefully plants the seed, and he waters it. Then, he lets it go. He does not go out the next day and frantically dig up the seed to see if it has sprouted roots. He knows that would be an act of supreme foolishness that would destroy his creation. He understands that the most critical phase of growth is happening invisibly, under the surface, in the quiet darkness of the earth. He has faith in the unseen process. He trusts in the gestation period. Your desires are exactly the same. When you perform your inner work, you have planted a powerful, energetic seed in the fertile soil of the quantum field. You have watered it with your focus and feeling. Now, you must have the wisdom of the farmer and allow the roots to take hold in the invisible realm before the shoot can break through into your physical reality. There is no more powerful illustration of this principle than the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. When the seed of this remarkable tree is planted, watered, and fertilized, nothing happens for the first year. There is no visible sign of growth. The second year, nothing. The third and fourth years, still nothing. The farmer must continue to water and tend to a patch of empty earth, year after year, with unwavering faith. It is a profound test of patience. Then, sometime during the 5th year, a tiny shoot finally breaks through the ground, and in the following 6 weeks, the bamboo tree grows to an astonishing height of 90 feet. The question is, did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow for 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grew for 5 years. For 5 years, it was silently and invisibly building the massive, intricate root system required to support its explosive, outward growth. Without that long period of unseen preparation, the rapid manifestation would be impossible. So many of us give up on our dreams in the 4th year, just before the breakthrough, because we don't see any external evidence. We mistake the vital gestation period for failure, unaware of the vast, invisible root system that is being constructed on our behalf. This period of divine timing is not a passive void. It is a profoundly active phase of cosmic organization. The universe is not a simple vending machine where you insert a desire and a physical product immediately clunks into the tray. It is a master choreographer, a grandmaster chess player. When you place your order for a new reality, the universe's infinite intelligence gets to work, arranging a breathtakingly complex series of events that your limited human mind could never orchestrate. It might need to arrange for someone to quit their job so that your dream position opens up. It might need to guide your future romantic partner through the ending of their own relationship, so they are free and ready when you meet. It might need to orchestrate a supply chain issue on the other side of the world, so that a different opportunity, one that is far better for you, is rerouted to your path. You have asked for the final painting, and the universe is busy behind the scenes mixing the perfect colors. stretching the canvas, and arranging the lighting. To rush this process out of impatience is to demand an unfinished masterpiece. Impatience, in its rawest form, is a frequency of doubt. It is faith's most corrosive acid. When you feel impatient, you are broadcasting a powerful signal to the universe that says, "I don't really trust that you are handling this. I don't believe my desire is actually on its way. So I need to see physical proof right now to assuage my fear." This anxious, needy energy creates powerful resistance. It is like constantly calling the five-star restaurant 5 minutes after you've ordered to ask the chef if he has started cooking yet. You are not speeding up the process. You are disrupting the flow and broadcasting your lack of faith in the chef's abilities. Your job during the gestation period is not to frantically monitor the progress. Your job is to hold the frequency. Your work is to live in the state of calm, joyful expectation. If you truly knew, with every fiber of your being, that your 90-foot bamboo tree was growing its roots, you would not be anxious. You would be peacefully and joyfully tending the soil. If you truly knew your Amazon package was on its way, you wouldn't pace at the door. You would happily go about your day, perhaps preparing a space in your home for your new item. So what do you do during the wait? You live. You live as fully and as joyfully as possible. You practice everything we have discussed. You anchor yourself in the present moment. Because impatience cannot survive in the now. You practice gratitude for the blessings you already have, which keeps your frequency high and your heart open. You continue to protect your energy and tend to your inner state. This period is the final examination of your mastery. Can you hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when the 3D world seems to show you no evidence of it? Can you trust in the unseen more than you trust in the temporary illusion of your current reality? Can you fall so in love with your own joy, your own inner peace, that the arrival of your manifestation becomes a delightful bonus rather than a desperate necessity for your happiness? When you reach this state of being, a state of joyful, non-attached, faithful expectation, you have passed the final test. You have become the farmer who smiles at his empty field, knowing with absolute certainty of the magnificent harvest to come. This period of waiting is not a void. It is a sacred, fertile darkness. It is the holy silence of the womb in which all new life is formed. Having journeyed through all these principles, from the basics of vibration to the subtleties of trust, we arrive at the final integration, living a frequency-aligned life. We have traveled an immense distance together on this inner journey of awakening. We began by shattering the illusion of a solid, random world, understanding that we live in a shimmering, vibrational universe that responds to the frequency of our being. We identified our mind as the broadcast tower, our emotions as the amplifier, and our subconscious as the vast, automated engine room running on old programming. We learned the sacred arts of rewriting that program, of visualizing a new reality, of speaking it into existence with our words, and of cultivating the ultimate high-frequency states of gratitude and love. We learn to protect our energy, to release our desperate grip on the outcome, and to trust in the sacred, unseen rhythm of divine timing. We have assembled all the tools. We have studied all the maps. And now, we arrive at the final, most important stage, the integration, This is the point where we cease to be students of these principles and begin to be living masters of them. This is where the techniques you have learned cease to be things you do and instead become the very essence of who you are. This is the art of living a frequency-aligned life. This is not a diet you can go on and off. It is not a magic wand you wave only when you want something specific. It is a complete and total paradigm shift. A new operating system for your entire life. It is like learning a new language. At first, it is a conscious and clunky process. You must mentally translate every word and struggle with the grammar. This is the technique phase, where you are consciously practicing your affirmations, scheduling your visualizations, and reminding yourself to feel grateful. But if you persist, a magical shift occurs. You stop translating. You begin to think in the new language. It becomes natural, fluid, and second nature. This is the goal. The goal is not to get better at doing the techniques. The goal is to practice the techniques until you become a high-frequency being, one whose natural, default state is one of joy, peace, abundance, and love. You no longer have to try so hard to broadcast a positive signal, because positivity has become the core resonance of your soul. To live this way, you can begin by establishing a new daily rhythm, a sacred routine that honors your role as a conscious creator. The first few moments of your day are the most powerful, before your conscious mind fully engages. Before you reach for your phone and allow the low-frequency noise of the world's problems to flood your awareness, you have a golden opportunity to set the energetic tone for your entire day. This is not a chore. It is the act of a master artist preparing their canvas. You can begin simply by lying in bed and starting a rampage of appreciation, finding 10 things you are genuinely grateful for. Then, you might move into a short meditation, not to achieve anything, but simply to quiet the mind and connect to the stillness of the present moment. From this place of stillness, you can spend a few minutes visualizing your day unfolding beautifully, or feeling the emotions of your grandest dreams as if they were already real. And finally, you can set a single, powerful intention for the day ahead. It might be, today, my primary purpose is to feel good. Or today, I choose to see love and abundance everywhere I look. This simple morning ritual, which can take as little as 10 or 15 minutes, is the most important investment you will ever make. You are not reacting to the day, you are creating it in advance. As you move through your day, you become a gentle, moment-to-moment manager of your own frequency. This is not about being hypervigilant or policing your every thought. It is about a soft, loving awareness. Several times throughout the day, create a habit of pausing and doing a simple, emotional check-in. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What is the quality of my energy? What frequency am I broadcasting? If you find you have drifted into a state of stress, irritation, or worry, do not judge yourself. That judgment is just more low-frequency energy. Simply notice it with compassion, as you would notice a cloud passing in the sky. Then, gently recalibrate. You can use a micro tool to shift your state in under a minute. Take 3 slow, deep, conscious breaths. Deliberately relax your shoulders, Find one single thing in your immediate environment to appreciate. Think of someone you love. Hum your favorite song. These small, simple acts are like a pilot making tiny course corrections throughout a long flight. They keep you aimed toward your desired destination and prevent you from drifting too far off course into the storms of negativity. As you continue this practice, your entire perception of the world will begin to change. You will start to see with energetic eyes. You will look at people and events not just as solid, random occurrences, but as expressions of frequency. You will understand that a person acting out in anger is not an evil person, but a person broadcasting a deep frequency of pain and fear. This will replace your judgment with compassion. You will see a challenging circumstance not as a punishment, but as a vibrational mismatch. A clear sign from the universe showing you where your own frequency is out of alignment with your desire. This will replace your feeling of victimhood with a sense of empowerment. You will begin to see the invisible laws of resonance and attraction playing out all around you with the same dependable consistency as the law of gravity. This new worldview gives you a profound sense of peace. You are no longer a cork being tossed about on a chaotic ocean. You are the master of your own vessel, understanding the currents and navigating them with skill and grace. This entire journey, from unconscious reactor to conscious creator, can be captured in one final, powerful metaphor, that of the orchestra conductor. When you begin this work, your life is like an orchestra without a conductor. The violins are playing a sad dirge of past regrets. The trumpets are blaring with future anxieties. The percussion section is banging out a chaotic rhythm of stress and overwhelm. It is a cacophony of noise. It is the sound of a life being lived by default. The process we have undertaken together has been your education at the grand conservatory of consciousness. You have learnt about each instrument, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. You have studied the immutable laws of harmony, the principles of frequency, resonance, and attraction. And now, you are ready. You step off the stage and onto the conductor's podium. You pick up the baton of your focused, conscious intention. You take a deep, centering breath, and you look out at the expectant faces of the musicians, the universe in all its forms. With a clear vision in your heart and a feeling of joyful anticipation, you give the downbeat, and in that moment, a miracle occurs. The violins begin to play a sweet melody of gratitude. The trumpets sound a triumphant fanfare of joy. The drums provide a steady, powerful rhythm of peace. Every instrument, every aspect of your life, your health, your finances, your relationships begins to play in perfect, exquisite harmony, following your clear, energetic direction. You are no longer playing every instrument yourself in a frantic struggle. You are simply holding the frequency, conducting the grand symphony of your life. This journey of understanding frequency is not just about getting things, it's about becoming someone. It's a return to our true nature as powerful, conscious creators. And so, we arrive at the end of our shared journey, at the summit of a mountain of understanding from which the view of reality is forever changed. We began with a simple, world-altering premise that you are a being of frequency, living in a universe that responds not to your words of supplication, but to the very essence of your vibration. We have traveled far and wide across the inner landscapes of the self. We journeyed into the broadcast tower of the mind, learning that our thoughts are signals that shape our world. We listened to the wise counsel of our emotional guidance system. We dared to descend into the engine room of the subconscious to rewrite the old, limiting programs that held us captive. We learned to be architects of new realities through visualization and to give them voice through the power of affirmation. We embraced the profound paradox of letting go, of protecting our energy, and of trusting the sacred rhythm of divine timing. We expanded our awareness from our single, precious life to our unbreakable connection to the entire human family. We have, in essence, remembered the language of the universe. If you are to take only one truth from this entire journey, let it be this: this work was never truly about getting things. It was never about learning a new set of cosmic tricks to acquire more possessions, to manipulate people, or to control the world around you. The entire journey, from the first step to the last, has been about becoming. It has been about the systematic, conscious, and loving process of unbecoming who you were taught you were, so that you could finally become who you truly are. The ultimate secret is that the universe does not give you what you want. It gives you, in flawless reflection, who you are being. You do not attract abundance. You embody an abundant frequency, and the universe reflects it back to you as money and opportunity. You do not acquire health. You cultivate a frequency of vitality and wholeness, and your cells obediently express it. You do not find love. You become a radiant source of love, and a loving partner naturally gravitates into your orbit. Peace, joy, and freedom are not destinations to be reached. They are frequencies to be chosen, to be inhabited, to be embodied, right here, right now. Therefore, the power that you have been seeking has been inside you all along. The remote control for your reality is not in the hands of your boss, your government, your past, or your circumstances. It has always been, and will always be, firmly in your own hand. Every morning you awaken, you are given a fresh canvas, a new day, and a sacred, conscious choice. What frequency will I broadcast today? What station will I tune into? Will it be the familiar, static-filled station of fear, doubt, and limitation? Or will I consciously and deliberately tune my being to the clear, resonant frequency of love, of gratitude, of peace, of my own infinite power? The choice is yours in every moment. You are the conductor of your own symphony. You are the dreamer of your own dream. You are a magnificent, powerful, and eternal being of light and energy, and you came here to this physical dimension to learn the joyous art of creation. You are a note in the grand song of the cosmos. Do not be afraid to sing your unique and brilliant melody as loudly and as beautifully as you can. For when you do, you will find that the entire universe rearranges itself to dance with you,